he screams, "Just give me one more opportunity."
You will deny Christ. Prepare to die.
The theme for this episode is the dark side of social media. Hello, Matt Cox.
Hi. Hello.
It's good to see you. I think I forgot to say hello to you last time.
Yeah.
We heard about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We had fun last night. Me, you, and Colby, we got our ladies together. We went out in the town, painted the town red.
I want to mention something that happened last night.
Uh-oh.
Because I've been thinking about this.
All right, lay it on me.
Which was that you've been approached. You said you'd been approached multiple times saying, do you really think this guy has changed?
Yeah.
At all? And then your wife, then Lisa, should I say Lisa?
It's okay.
Okay.
She's not in the witness protection program.
Okay. And then she said that she recalled a story that I told about when I was younger. When I was in college, right? I was in college with a girlfriend. We were living together. My mother used to have, at least once a month, we used to all have dinner.
Yeah.
And we were at dinner, and something had come up where my sister had lost her engagement ring, and she'd gotten a refund check from State Farm. Mm-hmm. And so let's say it was $10,000.
Yeah.
And they were going out. They were going out to buy another engagement ring. She'd lost her engagement ring. Mm-hmm. And so she had the check, and my mother had asked her if they'd gotten the ring, and she said, "No, Mom, you're not going to believe what happened." Now, this is my whole family. There's like 10 or 12 of us that are sitting around a big table at my mom's house. And she said, "No, Mom, you're not going to believe what happened." She said that her son, Jake, had mentioned that his mother had lost her engagement ring. They were going to buy another engagement ring, and the teacher in his class said, "Really? Have your mother come in when she gets here." So when she came to pick him up, she went in to go see the teacher. She says, "Is everything okay?" And the teacher says, "Yeah, what kind of a cut was the ring you lost?" And she told her what kind of cut it was. And she goes, "Is this the ring?" She goes, "Oh my gosh." My sister had somehow or another taken it off, had fallen off her. I don't know what happened, but the teacher had found it in the parking lot and had placed it into lost and found.
Got it. And to be clear, at this point of the story, she had received the check for $10,000 from the insurance company.
Correct.
Had she negotiated the check at that point?
No, she.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if she I think she had just had it. I don't know if she had deposited or not. I don't recall. But I know she'd already gotten the check, and now she's got the ring back.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting at the table, and I said, "Sweet." And I went, "You've got the check, and you got the ring back. That's great." And everyone at the table my whole family looks at me like, "What do you mean?" I went, "Well, because you've got both of them. You get to keep the check and you got the ring." And she said, and my sister says, No, Matt, you don't understand. She said, "State Farm sent me the check to replace the ring so I can get another ring, but I already have the ring." And I went, "No, exactly. They have no idea you got the ring back."
You were 19?
No, I think it was probably 2021.
Okay.
And so she's like, no, but Matt, and she starts to explain it again. Like,
this is the early broken moral compass of a con artist.
Of course. And I'm sitting there like looking, and she explains it again, and I'm like, "No, I understand." Like, and now they're all trying to explain it like I'm dense. I'm like, "No, I'm not the dense one here. I understand the concept. I'm saying you got away with it. Like it's perfect. You got $10,000, and you don't have to spend it. It's a bonus." Yeah. And so finally, they just they went on a little bit, and then I started realizing like, oh, okay. I remember sitting there thinking, wow, like, who are these? What's wrong with these people? They're the problem.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, so Lisa had mentioned that, and she said, I thought to myself that if that happened again today,
right, this was interesting.
You'd obviously give the check back, or she said, would you do that again today? And I said, absolutely, I would keep the check today to this day. And I thought about that. I was like, why would I give the check back? Like, it's not harming anybody. It's harming
an insurance company.
You
may not have sympatty for an insurance company.
No sympathy. I'm void. But for a bank or an insurance company, I don't see that 0.00001% of every customer, they'll be okay. Anyway, so I thought about that. I thought about it last night.
Okay.
And I was driving here this morning. And I was driving, and I thought,
weighing heavily on your heart.
It was because it was, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, because I thought, does that make me like a a scumbag? Like, does that make me a bad person? Look at these 11 pages. This is what a data broker claims to know about you. Your addresses, phone numbers, even relatives' names. And guess what? They're selling it. Anyone can buy your information for a few bucks. Scammers, stalkers, whoever. I've seen enough scams in my life to know just how dangerous this is. These companies are making billions selling your privacy, and we're the ones left vulnerable. That's why I use today's sponsor, Aura. Aura fights back by automatically finding where your information is being sold and scrubbing it off those sites. And it keeps it off. Other services claim to do this, but Aura does more. Alerts if your information hits the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for your bank account and credit, 24/7 monitoring, a secure VPN, antivirus, password management, and even $5 million in identity theft insurance. Bottom line, Aura gives me peace of mind. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and neither should you. Try Aura free for 14 days at aura.com/Matt. In 2 weeks, they'll be scrubbing your information off broker sites. That's aura.com/Matt. And I was driving and I thought, well, wait a minute here. Like, remember the thing I told you about, like the cell phone, bringing the cell phone back?
Well, yeah, and that was the follow-up question I had last night was, okay, so you would keep the ring and keep the money from the insurance company. You wouldn't tell anybody according to your current moral code as you explained it last night.
Right.
And my follow-up was, okay, well, if you found a wallet on the ground with $1,000 in it and some guy's driver's license, are you keeping that money or are you turning in the wallet? And what did you say?
I said, no, because that's actually happened. Last night I said, well, that actually happened, but it's actually happened twice.
Yeah.
John Boziak had found a wallet and he put it in the drawer. Like, what do you put in the drawer? And we thought he had returned it. And so like a month went by and Jess goes, hey, what's this? She pulls it. She goes, what is this? And I explained that Boziak had found a wallet. And I go, what's this? And I called him. I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, what? I said, you're not going to return the wallet? The guy's address is like a mile away.
Was there money in it?
Not when I don't know what he had. I don't think there was probably any money in it. But even then.
Yeah, credit cards.
Credit cards. And then I remember thinking, this guy's replaced everything by this point. It's been a month.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jess and I jumped in the car, drove there. Jess went and knocked on the door. The guy's wife answered, and she said, we got this wallet. And she was like, oh, my gosh, that's my husband's. And she looked through it. Oh, thank you so much. She said, no problem. Got in the car and left.
Yeah.
Then another time, Jess was walking, and she found a wallet. Looked the kid up on social media. He actually lives in our neighborhood. He actually had an Instagram account where he'd lost like 80 pounds or something.
Yeah.
He was doing a little in shape thing. Found him, contacted him, gave him our address. He came by, and there was still money in the wallet. And then he wanted to give us money, and we were like, "Oh, I'm not going to take any money. Here's your thing." But I was also thinking, like,
Okay, well, Jess's moral compass isn't in question here.
No. Well, I'm
wondering about yours.
I'm
Okay,
getting there.
yeah.
So, and I was thinking to myself, like, do you know how many times since I've been out of prison I've been driving and suddenly like cars are locking up in front of me? And I mean like there's 50 cars.
Yeah.
And they're locked, they're swerving, they're this. And then of course when I get to the area that they were swerving, like some trucker's tire blew out and there's a tire in the middle of the road and people are swerving around and they're swerving. I mean, people are multiple lanes and I immediately pull off. Of course, I'm a Floridian, so I'm like, these motherfuckers, like these dumbasses, like 50, 60 people, nobody pulled over, like assholes. And I pull over, I jump out, I run in the middle of traffic, grab the tire and throw it out. Matter of fact, we were eating at Five Guys. We were eating Five Guys.
Yeah.
Remember the ladder fell off the truck?
Oh, yeah, I was there with you. Yeah. It was
And I was like, fuck, let me go get this ladder. And I run and I grab the ladder and somebody ran over it before I even got to it.
I remember that.
Threw it and I pulled it aside. I'm not taking it home. I'm not,
Yeah.
I threw it on the side of the road, got it out because somebody's going to get hurt. Like somebody's going to.
You were like a Marvel superhero. I was sitting there watching you like run into traffic.
Yeah, and I don't need a new ladder. It's not because I'm thinking, hey, there's a good ladder there. Like
I could sell this on eBay.
right. So I threw it out and I thought to myself, like, listen, I don't think I wouldn't have done any of those things prior to going to prison.
Really? Okay,
No.
that's interesting to me.
No.
So before you went to prison, I want to drill down on this because this is interesting. You find that wallet on the ground, it's filled with cash. Before you went to prison, would you have returned that wallet?
No, I think I would have kept the cash and I probably would have kept the ID because now I got this guy's ID. Like now I might be able to, this might be useful.
Okay.
Listen, when they caught me, of course, all the IDs I had already gotten, but I had actually found an ID. I got hit with an extra stolen identity because I had found an ID in an abandoned house that I had bought and was fixing up, and I kept the ID.
And this is understanding that there's a metaphysical certainty you're going to get away with this crime. You're going to keep this cash, and no one's going to know.
And nobody's going to get hurt. No, like I was thinking.
Well, some dude.
Oh no, you mean prior to prison? Yeah. Now I feel like
I'm just wondering how much of it now is you do not want to go back to prison, which we talked about last night.
I do. I don't want to go back to prison, but I also think I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. But
so was it maturity? Did something happen in prison that truly rehabilitated you? And why didn't it go the extra step and make it so you realize that it's wrong to steal from institutions like banks and insurance companies too?
Well, one, I think that, and I've mentioned this, Pete says he didn't steal this from Einstein, but I believe this is an Einstein quote, where but Pete altered it for prison, which is you cannot go to prison and continue to behave in the manner that got you to prison, and then leave prison and not come back. You have to expect to come back unless you alter your behavior. And so I remember thinking, when I got out of prison, like even if I have to live in someone's spare room and I never have any money, like it's just better to try and just be a decent person and just do the right thing and work hard and maybe something will happen. And if I live in someone's spare room, at least I get control of the clicker and I can control the TV myself instead of having to ask, Cook, can we watch Walking Dead on Sunday? You know what I'm saying? So so there's that. And I just and also I didn't want to go back to prison. But the more I thought about it on the way here last night and on the way here, I'm keeping the $10,000 from State Farm. They are not going to get hurt. That CEO is not laying awake at night thinking our fraud numbers are up. I mean, it's going to cost but it's $10,000.
It's not your money.
It is my money. I've got it in my bank account. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I'm not going to work for the FBI.
I'm also
clearly.
Listen, you've come a long way.
Yeah.
You can take the cat out of the alley, but you can't take the alley out of the cat.
I feel like I'm kind to animals and small children. I feel like I'm a decent person. There's this one thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I had a fantastic night with you guys and your brides. So I want to just thank you so much for picking up the tab for dinner. Oh, wait a minute.
This was all the setup.
Wait a minute. Not only did I pay for my hotel room last night and the trip here, I covered dinner too.
Before we went, Jess said, "Are you paying for dinner?" And I went, "No." She said, "Why not?" She said, "He always says these things about you not paying." And I said, "No." I said, "Because he said I'm gonna pay." I said, "He said I'm asking everybody to go to dinner and I'm paying. Why would I do
true.
that?"
I'm busting your chops for the good of the show because I know people enjoy the fact that you stiff me every time.
Okay.
Congratulations, by the way, on the incredible increase in followers. So we got a lot of new people, so I'd like to explain the game show to them, if that's okay.
Awesome.
All right, I got 12 true crime stories, because that's what I do. I was a former FBI agent. I am a former FBI agent. I was an FBI agent for 26 years. Now I'm a private investigator here in Florida. I investigate crimes then and now, and but then I just did them as an FBI agent. Now I try to shepherd those cases to the FBI on behalf of my clients. So I have this Instagram following on TikTok and YouTube now, thanks to you, where I do these 2 or 3 minute crime stories every single day. And so I take those stories and I harvest kind of the greatest hits of them, and I bring them here to kind of tell an expanded version of these crime stories. Some are cases I worked, most are cases other people worked. And I explain the crime, usually how it was discovered and how the bad guy was caught, the investigation, the prosecution. And then when it comes time to the sentencing, you, Matt Cox, an expert in crime and sentencing and incarcerations because of your checkered past, makes a guess as to how long that person serves in prison. And if you are within a 25% variance of the actual sentence, then you get a point. And your goal over the course of the next couple hours with me is to see if you can get more than 50% correct, right?
And if I get more than 50%, I win.
Yeah. Yeah, you win. But it's not that I lose, right?
I
that,
feel it is.
No. I'm not competing with you. Okay, I'm the game show host, and you are the contestant on this thing. Okay.
Do you ever think that shouldn't I be doing the crimes and you picking the sentences?
This is sort of a code switch for the show, and it's proven to be successful because I know you work very hard interviewing these miscreants every episode, and so this is an opportunity for you to kind of sit back and flex your muscles a little bit intellectually and show everybody how much you know about the criminal justice system because it's been such an integral part of your life. That's the idea. That's the idea. So you're kind of turning over the hosting duties to me for the next couple hours. But everyone knows that you're the star of the show. We all know that. Okay, you're the name in the marquee. You're the guy who got recognized at the restaurant last night by some random guy, and and so it was good. So let's do the first story, okay?
All right.
And this is a case I worked, but I wasn't the case agent, and it's always important for me to say that because I do not want my former colleagues at the FBI to think I'm taking credit for their work. The case agent was way smarter and better looking than me, but I was on the team investigating this thing in the surveillance. And we talked last episode a little bit about kidney health. We don't need to re into that, but that's sort of a key element of this. There's a fellow in Jacksonville named Bernardo Bolletete, and he was suffering from kidney failure, and kind of a bad deal for him. And he needed to have a couple more tests, and it looks like he might have had to go on kidney dialysis, which we've discussed in the past, is a real drag, right? I mean, you're hooked up to a machine for hours a day, kind of filtering the system, doing the work of the kidneys that are failing to keep your blood clean and everything working out. But he really did not want to go on dialysis. His whole thing was, I would rather die than go on dialysis. He just was really against that idea. And so, but he started talking to people and telling people that if he has to go on dialysis, he's going to go on a mass killing spree and go to the local mosque in Jacksonville and take out as many Muslims as possible. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure how that, I don't see how that's a leap. Like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, he clearly had a bias against Muslims
Yeah,
and he felt that the world would be a better place without them. He did not, it was almost like a suicide by cop kind of thing.
No, I'm just saying that if I'm going to have to go on, I'm gonna start killing people. Like, what? How does?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, you see
I'm not saying it's a logical decision.
Yeah.
I'm saying that he thought that, if he's going to go out, he's going to take as many Muslims with him as possible. Which, and of course, word of that comes back to both the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and the FBI, because he was kind of telling this to anybody who was willing to listen. And he was sort of a gun guy. He was a guy who had weapons and lived a couple miles from the big mosque in Jacksonville. And so it got assigned to two really good agents, one very senior agent, one very young agent, and they needed volunteers to go and be on the surveillance team to put this guy under 24/7 surveillance to make sure he wasn't going to go near the mosque and do something. And so I was on that surveillance team. In fact, I missed a Thanksgiving dinner one year because I took Thanksgiving shift on it, and we're following this guy around. And eventually, and the FBI gets criticized for this, but I don't know what else we could really do. The FBI introduced an undercover, I believe it was an undercover police officer, who kind of befriended him and began making calls and recordings with Bernardo Bolletete. And he continued to talk about his plans to kill Muslims. And so at one point, it was always very, I love the FBI, but our marching orders weren't entirely clear. Like, what were we as the surveillance agents truly supposed to do if at like noon one day he decided to drive to the campus of the mosque?
Right.
What's our deadly force policy under that situation? Do we hop out of the car and start shooting him? Do we pull him over and try and then come out of the shadows and say, you're under arrest? And then what are we really arresting him for at that point? I mean, it's not illegal to have a gun, lots of guns in Florida. It's almost like they give it to you when you move in.
Right.
And so the decision was made. And so the decision was made a way, and I had nothing to do with this decision, to try to move this thing forward. And Bernardo asked to get a silencer because a illegal silencer.
Yes, this is to the police officer?
Yeah, to the undercover police officer who was a guy who claimed to have access to that type of thing. And so he asked for I guess gun people call them suppressors. Mm-hmm. A suppressor that gun laws are not my thing and kind of gun mechanics, but I guess there are such things as legal suppressors, and then most of them are illegal. He wanted an illegal one. That illegal suppressor was then sold to him, and then the FBI, because I wasn't on the arrest, arrested him in kind of a buy-bust situation just to take him off the streets.
Right.
It was becoming financially and resource overwhelming to follow this guy 24/7.
Yeah.
That is a lot of work. Every now and then I get called by people who are experiencing crazy talk in their mind, believing they're being surveilled 24/7. I say, listen, you are not important enough to be surveilled 24/7.
Right.
There's not enough money in this world to staff the amount of people you would need for a 24/7 surveillance. And so he was arrested.
When I was locked up, I thought a lot about home cooked meals. Now that I'm free, I try to enjoy them as much as I can. That's why I like HelloFresh. It makes cooking easy, even if you're busy. The meals are simple, they taste great, and they bring everyone to the table. They've got over 100 recipes every week from all over the world. Big portions too, so nobody leaves hungry. If you're trying to eat better, they've got more than 35 high-protein meals each week. They also use good ingredients, like seafood that's sourced the right way, and chicken with no antibiotics or hormones. And the quality, you can taste it. Now they've got more seafood, grass-fed steak, and fresh produce like pears, apples, and asparagus. Because when dinner tastes this good, nothing hits like home cooking. I use HelloFresh, and you should too. Go to HelloFresh.com/ITC10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free Zwilling knife, a $144.99 value on your third box. Offer valid while supplies last. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
Sold him the suppressor for $100, and then he gets arrested. The idea, take him off the streets somehow. So he gets charged with basically buying a illegal silencer, and takes it to trial and loses. But again, the context here is much bigger than simply a firearms charge. But given that, what sentence are you going to give Bernardo Bolatete, Judge Matt Cox?
I'm trying to think if that judge would take it into consideration that he's dying, because
again, people can live a long time on dialysis. It's not a great deal, but there's dialysis in prison.
Yeah, there is. Matter of fact, I wonder if they wouldn't even force him to take dialysis.
So the jury and the judge get to understand the full context as to why he wanted this suppressor.
Yeah,
but the crime is just, and this is a guy with a criminal history.
What was he charged with?
What's the actual charge?
Was it just
basically attempting to buy a illegal
he wasn't a
silencer.
Well, it's not a hate crime. He didn't actually really do anything.
He
right?
didn't do anything.
Yeah, because I think it doubles. I think you get like double the sentence if it's a hate crime or something along those lines. You get an extra enhancement.
Right. That may have been a consideration to the judge, but I don't know that he was never charged with a hate crime.
And was he a convicted felon?
No.
I just dropped it from 120 to 60 months.
60 months?
Yeah.
How long is that? 5 years?
5 years.
Okay. You going to go with that?
Yeah, I am.
Again, he intended to do something really bad. You understand
He didn't do it, though. Right.
But
he did go to trial.
But for the heroism of the FBI, he didn't do it.
Look,
and he went to trial and
I
lost.
can look at your wife's face and tell it's a bad decision. 60 months is a bad call. And he went to trial, so you might want to.
And again, I'm not trying to push you
I'm going to
off
say
your
60. I'm not letting you move off of my gut. I'm going to say it might be 120. I was going to say 120. Let's say 60. I'm going to say 60 months.
60 months, 5 years.
60 months.
Okay. For the simple act of just buying a little device that would make your gun shoot quieter.
Boy, you never win an argument, do you? That's what my wife says to me. She's like, "It's impossible to argue because I've thought through it."
I just want you
can
to
twist.
I want you to be comfortable with your guess.
A minute ago, you were twisting me the other way.
I'm not getting the impression that you're comfortable at all with this.
I feel good about my. Listen, I don't care if he got 15 or 20 years. He should have only gotten 5.
Oh, so that's what we're doing now. This is an act of activism by you.
But I mean, it's a silencer. I think, if he was a convicted felon, but he doesn't have every right to buy the silencer. But I want to say it's like what is the mandatory minimum? Is it like 5 or 10 years, something like that? It's like 5 or 10 years if you buy a silencer.
Okay,
something like that.
Right,
so I'm going to say 5.
All right, well, no, you're getting there. So we have the floor.
Yeah,
or one of 2 floors in your mind, and then let's say it's a 5-year crime. You don't think the judge takes into account what he's going to be doing with that?
I know that 60 months is off. I can just tell.
We don't need to be going to the studio audience for help. This is 1 player per hand in this poker game.
I'm going with. You know what? I'll split the difference. I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to go with you. If I split the difference,
I don't know what difference you're splitting. I don't know if you're splitting the difference down or splitting the difference up. That's why I'm laughing.
I've said 120 and I've said 60. Mm-hmm. Not exactly sure what's.
What's between 120 and 60?
Yeah, what's like 90 months? You know, I'll go with 90 months.
90
months.
How many years is that, Colby?
It should be 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah,
Roughly.
7.5 exactly.
Okay. So 90 months is now what we're going with?
You say like 58 months. What is
We're
it?
at 90 months now?
I'm at 90 months.
All right. We don't need to torture you for this long. I just want to make sure I understand that you're comfortable with this because I haven't sensed comfort from you yet.
I know. But okay, 90 months.
90 months? Okay. Correct answer? 60 months.
Mother. Listen.
Is he within 25%? I think he is.
Let's see, 60 times 1.2.
No, it's
No,
30.
it's 90. Oh, no, you're right. 60 times 1.25.
Yeah, no.
No.
No?
No, because that would have been a 30.
75.
See, had you just believed in yourself when you said 60, I wouldn't have needed to follow up with you. You were twitching, and it was
This is so wrong.
Starting off on the right
listen,
foot.
Let me explain something.
yeah, lay it on me.
I feel like one of those guys that people are like, why did you admit to committing the crime when you didn't commit the crime? So you
doesn't
don't
happen.
understand.
That
They
doesn't
twisted it. They, of course, listen, and these are guys that I'm impressed by some guy who goes 6 hours and then admits to a crime he didn't do.
You made it 6 hours?
He made it 6 hours.
All right. All right. Well, your logic was pretty good.
And I keep making the mistake of thinking, we're friends. You
We
didn't
are
mislead me.
I'm not trying to mislead you. If you come into a guest with pure confidence and you're like, dude, I got this, I would never, ever tweak you.
That's a lie.
All right. You ready for story number 2?
Yes, and then
Do you need a break?
I need to go to the bathroom. I drank the coffee. I'm
take
old. It goes right
take a
through
leak.
me.
Take a leak. Take a leak. We're good. Let's do a fraud story. Let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of a pump and dump scheme. Do you know what about those?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about what your understanding is, and we'll explain it to the audience.
It's. I knew a guy that ran a pump and dump. I mean, I've known several, but this one guy who was, I think he was related to John. Was it John Gotti? He was in the Gotti family. He actually changed his name to his mother's maiden name. And he used to tell me that the pumping and dumps are perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. I was like, I don't think so. He used to say he was innocent. Shouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's basically, I mean, traditionally, it's when you kind of incorporate a company and then you bring it public and then you pump up the financials and pump up the stock artificially so that people think that the stock is trading at $120 when really the company is almost a fabrication in some instances. Sometimes maybe there's a company, but it's not worth anything near what they're saying. You know, you fudge the financials and then the stock should be trading at nothing or maybe $1 or something, and they get it up to like 120. Then the people that are running the pump and dump, they sell off all their stock before any of the investors can sell off theirs. They get paid a ton of money, and then the stock crashes, company goes under, people lose everything.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. There's two variations. The one that we're going to talk about is very similar to what you just described. The other one is the Wolf of Wall Street one, where you don't own the company, but you identify a worthless company, and then you set up a boiler room full of people to cold call senior citizens, sell them this stock because you have a hot tip that's going to go places. You, the person running the boiler room, buys a bunch of shares of this penny stock, get the price pumped up by selling a bunch to senior citizens at inflated prices, which brings the shares up, and then you dump all your shares and get out. That's what the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort story was about.
And in that case, there actually is a company. It's not a fabricated company. It's a real company. It's just not really worth nearly what's happening.
Because usually this doesn't happen with the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. There's this third kind of OTC, over-the-counter stocks. They call them green sheets back in the days. Those stocks are very popular targets for pump and dumps. There's a crypto version of it that people are talking about a lot now called rug pulls, where like the Hawk Tua girl, she had somebody, I'm sure she was just the face of it, issue a bunch of Hawk Tua crypto coins that people bought as part of being the issuer. She gets a certain number of them. As soon as the price goes up on those, she dumps all her shares, pulling the rug out from everybody else. Then the shares crash. She got all the money from the run up. It's called a rug pull. It's the crypto version of a pump and dump.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about a scientific miracle here. involving a pump and dump scheme. If you could think of a scientific breakthrough miracle in the medical field, what do you think would be a good one? If like what would be on your wish list?
Curing cancer.
Okay, yeah, no,
or
I
something,
think that's
right?
a great one.
In my case, I'd probably be height. I'd be like, I'll forego
a pill
cancer.
you could take to be 6'4".
I get 3 more inches.
Yeah. Well, this one's about a scientific miracle of a different kind. There was a Vancouver, Washington company called Cytodyne. An investor sat up and took notice when the CEO, Nadir Pourhasem, announced that his company had developed a drug, a pill that you could take that would eradicate the HIV virus and the COVID virus. Imagine that, Matt Cox.
You would 2 birds with 1 stone.
You would never have to wear a condom again. You just take the pill and HIV is gone, as well as COVID. A virus killer. And so everyone gets really excited about this. Nadir said that this miracle drug was fast-tracked for FDA approval and would be hitting the market imminently, right around the corner, guys. It's going to save millions of lives worldwide. That's what he said. Africa still has an AIDS crisis. News of this miracle causes the stock of Cytodyne to soar to the stratosphere. It's going up through the roof. And then the CEO, Nader, what does he do? He begins dumping his personal shares, profiting $4.4 million in this run-up of the stock price, prompted by his announcement of the scientific miracle. Okay? Well, of course, you see what's coming because this is what we do here. There was no miracle drug at all. You still need to wear a rubber. And CEO Nader was simply just absolutely full of shit about this drug. It didn't exist. The FBI launches an investigation and charges him with securities fraud and insider trading. Right? It was both insider trading and securities fraud, essentially a pump and dump against Nader. He also takes the case to trial. I know. Why don't they have lawyers telling them that it's a good deal, running the guidelines with and without a trial? And the jury comes back guilty on all counts. The government, this is important to keep in mind when you're thinking of the sentencing, the government seizes $4.4 million in assets from him.
Right.
Okay.
So there's no restitution. There's no fraud loss.
No,
there's no loss.
Right. Well,
There was
there's
potential.
a fraud loss for sentencing guidelines, but no restitution because they went and took his stuff. So he's not going to be able to enjoy any of his ill-gotten gains in the future. But he does have a sentence. And I'm going to tell you, it was a prison sentence, Matt Cox. Mm-hmm. How long is Nader's prison sentence for this pump and dump scheme with his company?
Wasn't there like a 1-year thing or didn't we have another rule for under a year or something like that?
If you're within a year, you will get the point. Yeah.
No matter if the sentence is under a year?
Yeah, say if Matt guesses 6 months and it's a year and a half.
He's irritated because he was like, "What are you talking about? It's still a percentage. There's still a percentage."
No, we've I lost that.
Look how upset.
I lost that fight. And as I pointed out to the thousands of Matt Cox fans who reach out to me telling me that that's bullshit. I said, listen, it's Matt's show. It's Matt's show, and there's no real stakes here. Yeah. So what do I care?
Let me think. Let's think. Is no dollar loss. I don't say anything.
That makes for a good podcast.
I can already tell. And they got the money back. He's a felon. We don't know if he was a felon. We don't know how many
he's
victims.
a CEO. This guy's not a criminal.
We don't know if how many victims. Do we know how many victims?
No, but I think this is a publicly traded company. I don't know what stock exchange it was, but victims are funny like that, right? Because when it comes to a pump and dump scheme or something like that, because the market is really the victim, right? The bunch of people went out and bought the stock at inflated prices, and on the basis of this thing. But it's hard. Like I don't know that you. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, dozens. I don't know how many people. It's not like he's out there pushing the stock like in a Jordan Belfort Wolf of Wall Street situation. This is probably traded on the NASDAQ, and people just buy and sell stocks all the time. This one has a big announcement, and a lot of people bought stock based on that announcement.
But in a pump and dump, if you put $10,000 into it, and then the stock suddenly is worth $40. But what you're saying is that they were made whole.
A pump and dump, you cannot look at victim losses. You can only look at the gain to the bad guy who's doing it.
Really?
Yes. Especially if it's a publicly traded company, Matt. How on earth are you going to figure out which little old lady bought this stock at $30 who wouldn't have bought it at 30, but she would have bought it at 25? How many people are relying on this public announcement? It's a tough situation when you're dealing with insider trading to identify human victims.
So if I say 1 year and it's 2 months, I win.
Yes.
Technically, wouldn't you have to say 364 days?
Yeah, I was thinking I was like 11 months. But if it's 14 months, then I win.
Within a year. If you're within a year.
If the sentence is below a year, what if it's above it?
If you're within a year, I'm gonna give it to you.
It's fine. Hey.
I mean, because you remember this?
Listen, you and Colby are business partners.
I feel like this guy got like a month or something. He got like 90 days.
Oh, no, you don't see. Okay, well, let's talk to me about the seriousness of the crime. You don't take this crime seriously?
I do, but I really only take it seriously because of what I'm thinking of the victims. But you're saying they don't take that into consideration. Like that bothers me. Like to me, if some old lady put $30,000,
the market is the victim. It's a collective victim.
So for this, the market is the collective victim, but the insurance company, when I want to keep the 10 grand, then
that's an institutional victim, which is owned by somebody.
But people were buying the stock.
All right, say it's 6 months. Let's see how that goes for you.
I'm going to say 11 months.
You want to say 11 months?
11 months.
11 months. Final answer?
Yes.
All right, good. The correct answer? 30 months in prison.
Oh!
You need to trust your heart, not be so tactical.
Yeah.
Follow your heart.
Yeah, hope. That's a strategy.
Were you in prison kind of when Facebook came out like to the public and became a big thing in 2008, 2009? Or was that before you went in?
Actually, it had been out. I think Facebook had been out for like a year. Like it came out, I want to say, because I was locked up in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I specifically remember being at the office and the girl I was dating was saying she was going to close her MySpace and start moving everything to Facebook. And she said, "Do you want a Facebook?" And I was like, I'm on the Secret Service's. I'm number one on the Secret Service's most wanted list. FBI's looking for me. I don't feel like throwing my picture out there is a good idea. I'm like, I'm going to go with no.
Yeah.
And she's like, would you mind if I post you and I? No, I feel like that's a bad idea. So no, I'm going to go with no. So it had been out. I want to say it had been out about a year. I don't know when Facebook actually started. When did Facebook actually start?
Well, see, Facebook. I mean, I know you saw the movie, right? That
yes.
Yeah. So
social network.
So Facebook was like a college thing. You had to have like a .edu email address to be a part of it. And I think it just started at Harvard, according to the movie, which I think is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Then it became you had to be a college kid, and then they started opening it up to everyone in the nation, and it kind of took off really fast.
Right.
Like,
Launched in 2004 and public in 2006.
Okay, so probably early because I was arrested at the end of 2006.
When you say public, open to the public to
Open
use,
to the public.
or not, or publicly traded? Okay.
Expanding to other universities and eventually open to the public in 2006.
Yeah. And so I know I got on Facebook probably with the rest of America in 2008, 2009. That's when like everybody was hopping on it. And there were so many different interesting things that were happening to the culture. And you were busy running from the law at the time, but it was kind of funny just watching it occur because people were reconnecting with friends from high school. People were reconnecting with their high school girlfriend that they hadn't talked to in 40 years and divorcing their wives. It was like, it rocked the world. I mean, people were having these get-togethers and like, it was just amazing how that thing went from zero to everybody overnight. Mm-hmm. And affinity groups began to form. If you were into like Led Zeppelin, you could go do that. Or if you were into some weird like devil stuff, you could go do that. Or any kind of subgroup of people, you could find a Facebook community to latch onto. And as we've talked about before, those affinity groups are very, very powerful influencers on people and their attitudes. And when it comes to fraud, an affinity fraud is a very big deal because that's when when the Pop Warner football mom decides to rip off the other Pop Warner football moms, and you trust them because they're part of your same affinity group. And or the Baptists or the Mormons or any kind of subgroup rodeo people. We've talked about that before, and it's interesting. I like thinking. I've been reading a book called *Sapiens*, sort of about the history of our species, and going back 40 million years, and the DNA that's encoded within us is this affinity thing that we've talked about extensively on the show. It's not just ignorance. It's baked into our DNA. To survive, we are tribal people, and there has to be trust among the tribe. And so when there's a guy named Jacob Dalton in Sarasota Springs, Utah, and he had a lot of friends on Facebook, and those friends also had friends, and they were like a community. I don't know if they were Mormon or not. I couldn't find this in any of the court documents. They're not going to say that. But it has that kind of feel to it, that these people, they were more just Facebook friends. They were a faith community as well, probably. So he puts it out there on Facebook that he was going to offer investments in his company, Rogue Liquidity, LLC. It was a firm that was going to pool investor money, give him the money, and then he's going to help out companies and individuals who are having liquidity problems by giving them high interest short-term loans. And you, as an investor, could profit from those loans. He was offering investors, and get a load of this, guaranteed, Matt Cox, risk-free, Matt Cox,
Got to be legit.
investment returns of 60% on their money, right? You give me $1,000, I'm going to give you $1,600 back. But it's guaranteed, no risk, right? Sounds like a good deal, Matt Cox?
Yeah. I wonder why the bank didn't lend you the money.
Yeah.
If it was guaranteed.
Well, I know what you're thinking. 60% sounds kind of outlandish. Who would believe that? But that's the thing with an affinity fraud.
Yeah. But it's guaranteed.
They trust this guy because he's part of their group. He's part of their tribe. And like I said, that's a thing, and it's a powerful thing. And we can discount it. We can laugh at how dumb these people are, but they have DNA working for them, making them trust this guy. And so 45 people, 45 of his Facebook friends, give him $1.5 million collectively.
Okay.
Okay. This happened over a 14-month period. And as you may have guessed by now, this being a true crime show, there was no liquidity pool, and investor funds were just used to fund Jacob's lifestyle.
Right.
Okay. It wasn't really clear how he spent the money. I wish I had that information for you. But I do know that when the FBI finally swooped in, as they always do, there were no assets remaining. There was nothing left to be seized from him. I mean, he pissed away
How long did this take place?
14 months.
Over 14
Yeah,
months.
1.5 million. I believe in you.
That's over 100,000 a month.
I believe you could spend $1.5 million in 14 months if you put your mind to it.
I'd probably still end up with something left. I'd have a couple of cars left over.
Smart criminals lease cars, right?
Right.
So the Provo office of the FBI swoops in to investigate. They launch a fraud investigation. Jacob gives a full confession. I'm sorry. I did it. Guilty plea. Goes in and pleads guilty. He was just sentenced. Obviously, he's being sentenced to pay $1.5 million in restitution to his 45 Facebook friends. How much time is a guy like that going to serve in prison? No criminal history.
It's not even, if 45 victims, not even over 50 victims, that would be it.
That's right. He skated underneath that number.
gonna hit.
You're thinking.
Yeah, sophisticated means. Okay. I don't think that much. I mean, I'm going to maybe say 30 months?
30 months
Yeah.
for that many victims?
45. That's not over 50. I mean, it's over 10. Like, it goes from like 1 to 10, then from 10 to 50, and from 50 to like.
Do you think he would qualify for the use of mass marketing, which is an enhancement?
Yeah, but he pled guilty.
He did.
Right. It sounds like right away he pled guilty. It's 1.5.
1.5 million,
Yeah.
not 1.5 thousand.
30 months. I was maybe 36, at the most 36.
I'm not trying to sway you either way. I just want you to understand all the facts before you make your final
I
answer.
feel like the Mormons, they're very forgiving people.
I don't know that the judge was Mormon.
You don't know that. We don't know that anybody was Mormon,
I mean,
really.
the odds are that if you throw a rock at 45 people in Saratoga Springs, Utah, you're going to hit a Mormon. But
man, 30 months. Let's say 30. It's only one. Here's the problem is, like, I know guys that have stolen tons of money and gotten sweetheart deals, and so I'm that's why
this kid pled guilty.
He pled guilty.
Probably had very good hygiene, combed hair. He probably looked very nice.
Yeah, 30 months. I think maybe 30 months.
All right, you're going with 30 months?
I guess so, yeah. Yes.
I don't want to hear I guess so.
30 months.
30 months. Okay. Correct answer, 24 months.
Yes.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So that's, you hit it. If you'd said 31 months, I don't think you would have gotten it. Right? Because 25%.
Oh, yeah. No, that would have been. I would have been
25% of 24 months is.
Well, what would have been within a year?
Oh, are we doing within a year?
No.
However?
No matter what, is it really?
I think so.
Oh, Jesus. Why do I bother?
You look at it. You know what he's thinking? Like, I'm going to have to manipulate him more. I'm going to pull him aside. I'm going to really work my magic to get Cox off of the actual mark. I hit that first one on the head.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed.
I know. I feel terrible.
You feel bad? Do you sleep?
Well, had you not told me you were going to steal from the insurance company, when they've shown a little more mercy. I have a soft spot in my heart for insurance companies. You like Asian food?
I do like Asian.
What's your favorite kind of Asian food of all the different flavors of Asians? You got your Chinese, you got your Thai, you got your Vietnamese, you got your Japanese, you got your Korean, you got your Filipino.
Yeah, Chinese.
You like
I
Chinese
used to
food?
love butterflied shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they take the shrimp, they split it in half, and then they dip it in egg and they fry it. It's delicious.
Good. You like a Chinese more than you like a Thai, food-wise, so that is?
Yes,
Okay.
I do like Japanese. I do like sushi too.
You like the Japanese steakhouse where they do the little show there and they're like flinging shrimp into your mouth and everyone's sitting around laughing at the. You know, he builds a little volcano out of the
That right in your mouth.
You ever do that? Like you know the teppanyaki ones, the ones where
They throw it.
they build a little volcano out of the
seen,
onions. And then sometimes they're chopping up the shrimp, and they say, "Open your mouth, sir." And he flings the shrimp into your mouth with like a.
Is that real?
Yeah, I did that this weekend.
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
Yeah, the chef was like, he's going to my wife. She's like, "Does she like it big or small?" And I was like small.
Yeah, clearly.
And then he gave me a fist bump. So yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, no, I mean those things are fun. Those things.
Yeah,
are fun.
I don't feel.
It's almost like dinner and a show, and they
like
sit you with strangers too. It's like a cruise ship.
I just feel like I'm a little too heterosexual to have another man throwing shrimp into my mouth.
I can't imagine that like Benihana's insurance company is really excited about that act. It seems like a lot could go wrong flinging a flaming piece of shrimp into some guy's throat. Let's do a national security story. It's about China, so you guessed right.
Okay.
Yeah. My segue is a little awkward, but we'll make it work. His real name was Jin Chao Wei, but he was Patrick to his friends. Patrick, Pat. He was a U.S. Navy sailor, worked on the USS Essex, based in San Diego. Okay? He had a security clearance, very high security clearance, giving him access to sensitive national defense information about that ship's weapons system and mechanical system. This guy was like an engineer type. During his naval service, he began communicating with an intelligence officer he called Big Brother Andy from China. He's communicating with a guy from China, from the People's Republic of China, who begins asking him for information about the Essex and other Navy ships. And at the request of this Chinese intelligence officer, and Patrick is not being deceived, he knows goddamn well this is an intelligence officer, he's providing photos, videos, technical manuals concerning the ship's weapon systems, its propulsion systems, and its desalination systems. Do you know what a desalination system is?
It's for water, right?
Yeah, you take in the salt water, it takes the salt out, and allows the people in the boat to drink that water. You know, this is a big deal, right? Okay, a lot of these things truly are technical secrets. His handler wanted him to walk the pier and film other ships that are docked there on a daily basis. And I should make you guess how much he was paid for this. He was charged $500 a day for the days that he's providing information and walking filming other ships and stuff like that.
Chinese are so cheap.
They are. The two agreed to hide their communications by deleting records of their conversations and using only encrypted apps to text each other. He was also paid $12,000. I'm sorry, he was paid $12,000 over the course of this conspiracy, and he was told not to talk about this to anybody. Okay. Of course, the FBI keeps pretty good tabs on suspected Chinese intelligence officers operating in the U.S. and around the world, and the FBI stumbles upon the fact that Patrick is spying for the Chinese. They move in on him and they arrest Patrick. Okay, he's arrested for transmitting sensitive military information to China. Okay, I delved into the court records because I was kind of fascinated by this case and this young man. I think he was in his 20s. He wasn't like an old guy. He was interviewed by the agents, and when asked Patrick how he would describe what he had been doing with the intelligence officer, his response to the FBI agent was espionage. During his when he was arrested, he's Mirandized, he's interviewed. He tells the FBI, "Oh, I am screwed." Those were his words. And the FBI agent says, "Well, what makes you say that?" And Patrick says that I'm sharing the unclassified document. I mean, document with I'm not supposed to do that. That's what he says. So Patrick basically offers functionally a confession to the FBI agents. Nevertheless, he takes it to trial.
What's wrong with these
Right?
people?
And as we've talked about before when we do national security cases, the government, the U.S. Department of Justice, does not want these cases to go to trial because then the secrets have to be presented to the jury, and they're kind of not secrets at that point. But I guess at some point they figured the horse has left the barn. Patrick ain't taking whatever deal they were offering him, and he's found guilty. Let me read the crimes that he's found guilty of. 6 different crimes: conspiracy to commit espionage, unlawful export and conspiracy to export technical data related to defense articles in violation of Arms Export Control Act, blah, 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 blah. So, kind of like the laundry list of crimes that would be related to this thing. Mm-hmm. How much time are you going to give Patrick, U.S. Navy man, one of our sailors?
I want to say 120 months.
120 months. That would be 10 years, right?
Right.
Talk to me about that. Because I want to keep in mind that we've had these cases before, and I'm giving you a little hint here, where people have gotten tremendous deals, and you and I are like, that seems so low. And we talk about the fact that it's because the government offers great deals for not going to trial. Whatever deal was offered, he didn't. Yeah, he went to trial. He took this one to the mat, and you think he gets 10 years for this?
Yeah, I think if he had pled guilty, they'd probably give him 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
but.
Do you think 10 years is the hammer that was dropped upon him?
Yeah, and I think he gave him the information, and I think he's just, for stupidity, he should have gotten 5 years. Like, what do you, like, look, what do you think is going to be done with this information, Patrick? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you think they're just collecting it, sticking it in a file, or do you think maybe they're designing weapons, or they know where our boats are?
They're trying to steal our technology and make their boats as awesome as ours.
Almost everything that they have is stolen.
Yeah.
Like, your fellow sailors and countrymen, their lives are at risk. You're putting people's lives at risk. Like, these are boats that could go under. These are, come on, man. Like, it's not cool. And you knew it wasn't. It's not like you're saying, no, this was my cousin. Oh, they were threatening my family member. Oh, no, I'm just taking, and $500. That's another one. I'll give you another 2 years for stupidity. $500?
Yeah.
A day? Like, come on, man. Like that, no. I think 10 years. He'll probably get 3, but I think 10 years. I think that's reasonable.
Okay. You're making a good case. See, I like your spirit. I like your attitude. I like the commitment you have to this 10-year guest, which is why I'm not going to try and push you off of it. The correct answer is 200 months in prison, 16.66 years.
Wow. Yep. Right?
Patrick Way.
What an idiot. They were probably trying to give him like 5 years. You know what's so funny? Some of these guys, they think, they're like, I can't go to jail. Like, bro, it's 2 years. It's 3 years. It's nothing. Trust me. You had a harder time in the Navy than you're going to have at the low security prison in Coleman.
Right.
Like, what do you think? Oh, I shouldn't. People are delusional. And then they get 16 years, and they're like, oh, I should have taken the 3.
I get it. Yeah. I was a dum-dum, especially after confessing. Like, where are you going to go from there?
Well, I mean, he didn't even need to confess. Like,
he didn't. No, the FBI had the goods on him.
Right, but you knew. He knew the moment they sat down. He knew he was guilty. So it's not like, no, you don't understand it. Like, it's not quite cut and dry. No, it's pretty cut and dry. You admitted it. You knew what you were doing, bro.
Yeah, got it. All right, next case. You like babies, Matt Cox?
They're all right.
I mean,
I'm not a huge fan.
You're sort of a step-grandfather now, right?
I am.
You into the baby?
They made me hold him.
Yeah, you into
He's
the
so
baby?
small.
Yeah, not into it?
His head is, I'm going to break him. He's so tiny, and they don't do anything.
All right. No, that's a fair answer.
Your
own children? How many you got?
I got one son.
When he was a baby, were you into it?
Yes, I was working.
Yeah,
they're tiny. There's not much I can do.
No,
they don't really need me.
Again,
when he's 2 or 3 years old, it'd be cool.
I'm sure the audience is recoiling in disgust by your answer, but I am actually kind of with you on this. That I have 2 kids. Loved them when they were babies. Enjoyed holding them and all that. kind of bored with them. I enjoyed every year subsequently where they began to develop personalities and
Right.
interests. And now that my kids are adults, it's nice to have two fantastic adults that had some input into who they are today. And we have shared interest and lots to talk about and jokes from their 20 years plus of life. And so I'm way more into that than I am into babies. But I know a lot of women are like just baby crazy.
Oh yeah. Listen, Jess is over at her daughter's house every single day, playing, taking care of the baby, holding the baby. They love it. Everybody wants to hold the baby. I don't want to hold the baby.
Okay, so you're lukewarm on babies. African American babies in Milwaukee were dying at an alarming rate of 15 per 1,000 live births. Real problem. Like, this is a health problem.
Yeah. Why?
That's 3 times the death rate of white babies. And
This is not a fraud case.
public health officials in Wisconsin decided that the answer to this is going to be better prenatal care for pregnant black mothers.
Okay.
Make sense? Incentivized by Wisconsin Medicaid. They're going to fund a program to get the vitamins and the supplements needed to these pregnant mothers in hopes that their babies will fare better when they're alive, because this was a real live, no joke problem. And so there's a woman named Precious Cruz. She forms a company called Caring Through Love. Is that nice? Ostensibly to provide prenatal care to vulnerable pregnant women in Milwaukee. But her actual plan, Matt Cox, was to get rich through fraud.
Okay.
Okay. So Precious lures in pregnant women with the promise of free baby items like car seats, pack and plays, diapers, and baby wipes. And she signs up and enrolls these women in Wisconsin's prenatal care Medicaid program. And after signing them up, Precious gave the mothers their prizes and then sent them on their way with no actual medical care. Here's your baby seat. Here's your diapers. You just sign this on this dotted line. And then Precious begins to bill the hell out of Medicaid for the health services she never provided these mothers. She receives $700,000 from the system for services that were never provided to these mothers.
Okay.
Now you're seeing the fraud
Yeah,
here? Okay. What did she do with the money? She went on a shopping spree, basically. Luxury travel, designer clothing. She bought her own toddler an $18,000 custom diamond necklace and bracelet using the money. Her kid had some bling, Matt Cox. Precious's little baby. She posted on Facebook, we were talking about Facebook earlier, after one of the shopping sprees funded by your tax dollars. And she said, for Valentine's Day, he bought me the entire Louis Vuitton store. So it's only right that I get to buy Gucci out. And so she's going to these stores and just buying them out. And then, you ever heard of a hotel called the Sybaris? It's a sex hotel.
Okay.
Like where you go into like on a romantic weekend and have sex. I would maybe get some chlorine in the tub there. In the room. And then she said she was going to the Sybaris with $40,000 cash and a first-class trip to Puerto Rico for the weekend. Like, so she's posting her ostentatious lifestyle on Facebook for the world to see. So Precious's $700,000 scam comes to the attention of my former colleagues at the FBI, and they launched an investigation. And they brought identity theft charges against her because she was actually submitting some of these things, these documents.
Right.
And healthcare fraud charges against her. Precious, themed this week, went to trial. And her defense was essentially, we own a business and we can do whatever we want. It's our money. That was the heart of her defense. And you could decide if that's going to be a good defense or not I can tell you that the jury didn't see it that way. They found her guilty of 17 federal charges. And so that's kind of where we're at. $700,000 Medicaid scam, stealing money from basically from the taxpayers, but the Trojan horse that she used to steal the money were disadvantaged African-American women in a place that has an alarming death rate for black babies.
Do we know how many identities she stole?
It's a good question.
It's got to be over 100.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I'm not sure how many counts there were in that, but I think it's not identity theft like what you did as much as she's basically applying for Medicaid in other people's names who had signed on the dotted line.
Yeah,
she's using this thing as a way to harvest names and identities, much like you did.
I was going to say, she's initially getting them to come and fill out the paperwork, and then here's your baby carriage or your car seat,
Right.
and they leave, not realizing she's going to turn around and use that information to bill.
Yeah.
You know, they have no clue.
Exactly. That's why it's identity theft.
They think they got a book bag for back to school.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say 10 years because the dollar amount's so low, but I do think going to trial, I think they'd hammer her.
What does a hammer look like in this case, Matt Cox?
A hammer would be, I think, 10 years, but let's say I'd go a little lower. Let's say I go 90 months. Only because I only say that because, well, you know what? There's also an enhancement for if the government is the victim. You imagine that they give you, like, if you Bank of America is one thing, but you steal from us, you're getting another 2-level enhancement or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's hit. It's almost like all the enhancements. She's vulnerable victims, check. Over 100 victims because I think it's the next it's 100 to 250. So let's say it's between 100 and 2. Check.
Yeah.
Sophisticated means check. I mean, she's just going through. Oh, if you steal, well, if you use a charitable institution in furtherance of your crime, check.
Now, I will say that I don't believe that her company was registered as a non-for-profit. I think it was a company, which is just which box you check when you file it with the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, I got the vulnerable victim. No, I didn't get vulnerable victim. I got, what was the enhancement I got was if you use a charitable institution, and that was simply because I told people, hey, I'm taking surveys to determine where for the Salvation Army to determine, just because I said Salvation Army, I mean, she, I didn't, so she opened a company saying, I'm giving away, that's a shit. I'm sure they felt, I'm sure the judge would have been like, yeah, I feel like that's charitable. She was, using charity to, whatever. So I don't know. I'm probably 90 months.
90 months?
I'm going to go 90 months.
You've said that a few times. I feel like you're comfortable with 90 months. Are you?
I don't feel comfortable that you're comfortable with my comfortability.
I am not. I want to. I'm assessing you and your level of comfort with 90 months, and I feel like you're good with that.
I'm good with. 90 months. 90 months. Yes.
Okay, so you're comfortable with that. You'll go to bed tonight thinking, I guess I made a good guess, well reasoned at 90 months.
Just get it over with, man.
All right, your show. All right, the correct answer: 111 months. You did it. Good job.
Nice.
Precious.
I was leaning towards 120. That would have been even better. But yeah, 90's good enough. Good enough. Yeah, see, it just wasn't enough money. Like if it was a couple million, I think they would have definitely hammered her even.
Good. Where are we? We're at
2 for 4. 2 for 4.
Okay.
50%. You're on the winning half.
You're on track.
You're almost 4 for 4 if you hit the first one on the head. It's double. 2 points if you hit it on the head.
Matt Cox?
I feel like he's making these up as he goes along.
I know, exactly. This is the Hunger Games. You wearing the same watch right now that you wore last night to dinner?
Yes.
Yeah? You want to tell what that watch is or no?
What I don't care. It's the Trump watch, and we never make 1 million subscribers.
No. I mean, listen. I don't know about the guy's watch. I mean, I'm not. I have no politics, so I'm just curious.
You know what killed me though? It was the marketing. Did it come out recently while he was president? He's still president.
No, wait. We don't know when the show's airing. No, but was this watch being sold during the course of his presidency?
No, just recently.
Okay, I didn't know.
Recently.
I didn't know.
It's funny, and I thought it would be funny because I knew it was red, and I knew guests would go, oh wow, I like your watch, and I'd be like, oh, you like it, and just to see if they even noticed that it said Trump.
No, I think it's funny. Yeah,
but here's what they did was I was going through like Instagram, and the watch comes up. It's like
it's a targeted ad.
$4.99. I don't know. But yeah, $4.99, and it's and he's talking whatever, and I looked at the watch. I was like, it's a really nice watch. Like,
it's a good looking watch. I have to give it that. Yeah.
And then so I watched the whole thing. I scroll. I'm not paying $500 for a watch.
Yeah.
I'm one of these people. If you give me $20 million, I'm not spending $500,000 on a Lamborghini. I'm just not doing it.
I get it.
So then an hour later, maybe even later in the day, I'm scrolling. It comes up again. Stop for a second. No, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
The next day, I go to pull up Instagram for some reason. 50% off.
Ooh, it's your big chance.
It's a bargain. $249. I got to buy it. I'm literally going through and hitting the button to buy it. And I thought, you're a sucker. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is targeting you. They knew you stopped on the ad and you had interest in it and they just hit you. You just got bought for a watch that probably was $30 from China, $60 because of the tariffs.
Yeah.
You know,
Was it made in China?
No, I have no idea where it's made. In my opinion, I never hear him. I don't think he ever says, made in America. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it's a lovely watch, and
We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah. And I'm not into politics at all. I don't have any super hard on for or against the president. It's just not. It's like the WNBA to me. That's the women's basketball league. It's something I just don't care enough about it to like have any emotion. But it is interesting that this president, probably more than any others in our lives, evokes such passion on both sides of the equation.
Yes. From
From people who are absolutely deranged in love with him and people who are absolutely deranged against him.
Yeah.
And that's just bizarre to me. I've never seen a public figure evoke such strong passions on both sides. And as an outsider who doesn't care about women's basketball, I watch it and I'm like, that's really interesting to me that you guys care so deeply about this guy and this thing. And so sociologically, it's just kind of interesting. And I'm sure they'll be studying this phenomenon for a long time thereafter.
I wonder if it's just him, or if it's kind of the social media in general. Because since I got out of prison, like I've noticed like the whole like cancel culture, like none of that was a thing when I went into prison. Like the cancer culture and the like you said, the hatred and you can say nothing right. And,
I know. Well, I get it in my comments. I'm sure you do too.
It's weird. Like I wonder if like, here's what I wonder is like after Trump's gone, will it be like that with the next guy?
I mean, do you think like, okay, let's say J.D. Vance becomes the next president. Do you think he's going to evoke that level of passion?
I don't think so, but I also don't think he'll give. Let's face it, Trump gives them a lot of good material to go with, so they're able to jump on it. But I think that sometimes they just twist anything and it's not just it's like I said, it's both sides. Like they can twist anything that Kamala Harris says. They can twist it. Like they're altering things. I'm watching an interview and then I hear the commentary and I'm thinking, okay, well, wait a minute, that's not exactly what. She said or he said or whatever.
Like everyone's looking to score as many small points as they can on a day-to-day basis as opposed to kind of judging the overall presidency as either a success or a failure for the nation. I mean, it's funny. As someone who really has no dog in the fight, I will do occasional stories, and I've done them on your show, about like an Antifa guy who does something really stupid or about a pro-Trump guy who does something really stupid. And whichever side I'm reporting on, the other side floods my comments saying, oh, you're just a jackbooted thug who loves Trump, or you're some left-wing Antifa guy, such a weak liberal, Tom. And neither, of course, is really true. I'm just reporting interesting federal cases that I think will draw engagement and all that. But it's funny how people not only want to be part of this one side of this like kind of online civil war we're having as a nation, but they want to make sure that everyone else is grabbed into it and dragged into it. Like the Israel-Palestine thing, not something I really care about. I don't really have a dog in that fight particularly. I'm not into Israel. I'm not really into Palestine. And it's also beyond my control. And I don't consider my apathy to be anything other than humility and the admission that some things in this world are going to be out of my control, and I'm going to focus on the things in my life that are within my control.
Right.
But people get so upset at the idea of you not picking a side on these existential conflicts.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who did take a side on an existential conflict. And he's right here in town.
Nice segue.
A Tampa dentist. Because I have a soft spot in my heart for dental stories. Richard Cantwell. You know him? Is he your dentist? Richard Cantwell.
No, I can't pronounce my dentist's name.
Okay, well,
nice guy.
I'm sure you can sound out Cantwell, so it's probably not him. He was a Trump fan. Probably had that same watch that you're wearing right now, which is his right. But he's one of these guys, for him, it was like a cult or something. And it wasn't enough for him just to support the candidate of his choice. He took it to another level and sought out people on Facebook and Instagram, strangers, mind you, not like friends of his, to send them threatening messages and emails for disagreeing with him about politics. A journalist wrote a negative article about Trump, And Dr. Cantwell sent him an email that said, there's going to be some profanity here. So if your kids are in the car, and I'm just going to read it, Colby, and you can bleep out whatever you want. Is that cool? Okay. Dr. Cantwell said, fuck you and yours. Hire extra security. You're going to need it. I plan on fucking you up just for the fun of it, you degenerate piece of shit.
Why does he have to have a Southern accent?
Oh, Tampa's south of the Mason-Dixon line. A reverend named Chuck Curry in Portland receives an email from Dr. Cantwell in Tampa, a dentist in Tampa. And here's what the email said. Hi, fake reverend. You should know, being the anti-Christian piece of shit you are, that we are going to kill you. Torture first, then death. You will deny Christ, just like Judas, because you are a coward. Either way, prepare to die. You won't see Christ because you are an immoral degenerate.
He's going to jail.
Dr. Cantwell, then he fixated on an election official in Colorado named Jenna Griswold. I'm going to edit some of these words because I know Colby can't handle this, but you'll get the picture. You are a degenerate, then C word.
Right.
And you are now the target of your own investigation. Take note, because liberal twats like you get raped in alleys by really big black guys that serve our cause. So you twat, you are going to get raped by at least 5 N-words, but he said the actual N-word, and do nothing. You are the #1 target, you degenerate twat. I know. These are just public figures. He sent over 100 messages to just everyday citizens threatening to kill and grape. I hate that we have to do that.
Yeah.
Them because they just disagreed with him about Trump politics.
Yeah.
All right. Threatening someone on the internet, Matt Cox, is a federal crime. And the FBI arrested this loony dentist and he pled guilty. And let me just establish that this guy's not a typical Trump supporter. Not all Trump supporters are like him. Okay, I understand.
Or
that.
dentists.
Yeah, right. And so I don't think what he did was right. But we talk about the Antifa guy from a couple weeks ago who had just as much passion on the other side and channeled it in the wrong direction. So I'm not making fun of Trump supporters. If people want, people should be able to vote for the candidate of their choice.
Right.
How much time are you going to give this guy in prison after he pleads guilty to this?
He's a real idiot.
Yeah,
but he didn't.
He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. This is all just words. I mean, there is a First Amendment argument to be made here, but you really just can't threaten people.
No, I don't. I disagree. I mean, with the First Amendment, you can say whatever you want, but I mean, with the exception of you're threatening people's lives.
Yeah. First of all, question: are you going to let him work on your teeth?
I would let him work if I was an inmate. He'd probably be great in the dental.
Can that be your job in prison if you're a dentist and you go to prison?
I don't think so. No,
you can't
But they do have it's like the dentist, and then the other 4 guys in the dental or the dentist office in prison. They're all inmates.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everywhere you go, like if there's maybe a teacher, and then she'll have 5 inmates that are working with her. Really, they're teaching the classes. The teachers will just hang out in their office grading papers, but really they're just talking on the phone and doing social media.
Oh, interesting.
So
how much time are you giving Dr. Cantwell?
I feel like stupidity alone, you get 3 to 5, right? He didn't do anything though.
Right.
And sometimes
an internet loudmouth. You got him in your comments. I got him in my comments. Internet loudmouths exist. He just sort of crossed some lines, though, with it.
We think like 24 months to 36 months, somewhere in there. 30 months? What's between that? 30 months?
30 would be between 24 and 36.
I think 30. Did he go to trial?
No, pled guilty.
Oh.
Pled guilty. He came to his senses.
24 months? 24 months.
Is that what you want to go with?
Yeah, I feel like he didn't. I feel like the problem is I'm making the argument both ways. One, no, you're what you're doing, and then you're taking this guy. He's going to jail. He closes his practice. But then again, you're an idiot. 18 months.
18 months.
18 months. I'm going 18 months.
Because you were like 36, and now it's like a half price sale.
24 months.
Just like the watch was a half price sale.
24 months. 24.
24. We're going for 24?
I'm going 24. He didn't do anything, though. I do think you're terrorizing people. You know?
Yeah.
24 months. 24 months.
Colby, does he get a bonus for hitting it on the head?
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, did I hit on the head? 24 months? Oh,
24
nice.
months. You nailed it. Good job.
You know what bothers me about that one? It's
Tell me.
like you would you're documenting your crime. Wouldn't
I know.
he know this is a crime? Don't people know this is a crime?
Yeah.
Like, do you think there's just like stupidity, or you think that guy has like some type of mental illness?
but
like,
he's got a
why do you?
medical-
There's got to be
went
some
to
version of
medical
obsessive
school.
compulsive disorder going on.
You
or-
went to medical school. Like, you're not stupid.
Here's what I find. People, the internet and comments, particularly in the internet, bring out the worst in people.
Oh, yeah, you really know who people are
I
in the
bet
comments.
you this guy is drilling the teeth of plenty of liberals
Yeah.
who disagree with him about everything. And you know what? I bet he treats them all like $1 million. It's just something about the internet brings out the worst in people because you don't have to look them in the face and get to know them as people and understand that everyone has a diversity of interests and opinions, that some of which you're going to like, some of which you're not going to like. But I don't know. I have a hunch that some of this is just internet tough guy bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of guys. Yeah, listen, on the phone, I'm a tough guy, bro. I'm 6'2". I'm like, you get in my face, I'm like, let's talk about this.
Chainsaw. Okay, so the FBI has a weird kind of thing that we do. I say we. I'm no longer an agent. Where it's not weird, but it comes from a very unusual legal framework where crimes on Native American reservations are automatically federal crimes. You know, even if it's a bar fight, an assault, or you rob the liquor store and get $50. If it happens on a Native American reservation, the FBI serves on most of these Native American reservations as the de facto detective squad.
Don't they have like tribal
there are tribal
police?
police. There are tribal police, and the FBI works very closely with them. But but for reasons unclear to me, and the legal framework is, I never worked Indian reservation crimes, but I have a lot of friends who did, and the cases are a lot of times very horrifying. I don't know if they're more or less horrifying than a big city police detective working in a low income area with a lot of substance abuse would experience. And we don't need to get into the details of those crimes because they get to be pretty rough. But I guess what I'm just setting the stage here is that crimes that would otherwise be investigated by police, if it's occurring on a Native American Indian reservation, then the FBI often functions as the police detectives in those cases. Okay.
Okay.
Do you ever serve time with any people who had committed Native American crimes and stuff like that? Because you're mostly in Florida. At Coleman.
They have they do have a group. They do have a Native American group in Coleman. We call them the Pretendians because and there would be maybe 20 or 30. But what happens is they get tobacco. So if you're Native American Indian, or you say you're Native American Indian, right, and you could become a part of this little group, then once a month they give you tobacco to have some kind of ceremony or something. So really, it's just a way for these guys to get together and
that's funny.
smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's usually all junkies, and I don't think there's any. We had one guy named DiGeronimo, and
That was his given name?
yeah, his name's DiGeronimo, and everybody was like, "Well, man, you're definitely Indian." He's like, "Actually, DiGeronimo is like Italian." He's like, they've got the Geronimo part, so they think he's Indian, but he's not.
Did he get to take advantage of the tobacco?
Of course, yeah, he was a tattoo artist, actually.
Yeah.
He actually put the sound system and he did a bunch of stuff for a lot of big time guys, and then one day got hooked on rock. And some of these guys, you listen to them and you're like, you were making how much?
Yeah.
You were doing what? You were married, you had 2 kids, and at what point you decided, hey, I should, you know what would make this that much better? I should start doing drugs.
Sometimes success gives the people the image of invincibility. Nothing can touch me. I'm on a roll. So there's a Native American tribe in Washington State known as the Spokane Tribe of Indians. That's their name. And the tribe had its own Department of Health and Human Services with a specific fund to help needy children in temporary custody of the tribe. So this tribe, let's say a mom and dad had to go to prison for something or died in a terrible accident, and then that kid doesn't go into the state foster care system. They go into the Spokane Tribe of Indians, its own kind of system. And they hired a woman named Tawny Willow Colvin from Davenport, Washington, to manage the fund for this for taking care of these temporary orphans in the care of the tribe. What she did, the tribe didn't know she was a thief. So what she did to steal money is she began transferring small amounts of money from the tribe's child welfare account to her own bank account. And then she sees that no one noticed. No one said anything. No one's watching the store, Matt Cox. Okay. And so the dollar amounts begin increasing over time until she was transferring thousands of dollars at a time from the child welfare fund to her own account. And she's withdrawing cash from the tribe welfare account also that she's using for her day-to-day spending money. Eventually, she's fired from her job with the tribe, not because of the theft, but because she was just a really shitty employee. It happens every now and then. But even after her termination, this is crazy. She gets fired. She still has access to the tribe's child welfare bank account, and she continued to make unauthorized transfers after she was fired. Problem is, there's someone else in there doing the job right now that actually is taking a look at the bank account, sees what happens. And they call the FBI, because that's what the FBI does on Native American Indian reservations. They act like detectives, even though her theft was just a tiny little bit over $100,000. Okay, but again, this was money earmarked for the care and feeding of Native American children. Tawny was criminally charged with the embezzlement. She pleads guilty, and of course she was ordered to pay restitution to the Spokane tribe of Indians as part of her sentencing. But she was also sentenced to some amount of prison time. And your job, Matt Cox, is to tell me with incredible accuracy how much time she was sentenced to for her $100,000 embezzlement.
Did she go to trial?
No, pled guilty.
I'm going to say 6 months because I've got a good. Actually, in 6 months, I should say 11.
Are you saying 6 months because you think it's 6 months, or because that's a tactical move for the game?
Well, I should say, like 11 months. That way I get all the way up to, I get a year pretty much either way. Tom's disgusted with this. I want to go with 11 months. I think she probably got 6 months because I'll say 11 for the tactical advantage. But I think she probably got 6 months or maybe even 90 days. She pled guilty. It's $100,000. We don't know that she had a criminal record, so let's assume she didn't. Like,
how funny that you and I, who work hard for a living, who also need to evaluate these cases, look at a case and say that $100,000 is nothing.
Well, it's not that it's not
like
nothing.
If you or I had a $100,000 windfall in our lives tomorrow, what a day that would be, man.
It would be amazing. But here's what I'm thinking of. It's not the 100,000. I'm thinking the 100,000 because of the sentencing guidelines. I think 100,000 is great. Is a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree.
But what I'm really thinking about is if you're saying, okay, well, Matt, that should be at least a year, maybe 2 years. The average salary in Florida is 80 or 90,000. Like that should be at least a year or two.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I'm really thinking about is that even 6 months is devastating because you lose everything in that 6 months. When you get out, your car's been repoed, your credit is trashed.
Right.
So you've lost your apartment or your house. Like people can't withstand that 6 months, and you owe $100,000. So to me, it's so devastating. You don't realize that when you get out. Let's say she did 3 months and they put her in a halfway house for 3 months. She can't. Her credit's trashed. She can't turn around and go and get a new car because her.
Help me understand, why does the credit reporting service care if you were incarcerated or not?
Well, they don't, but she's not able to make her car payment anymore.
Okay.
She's not able to pay
begins
her
defaulting
lease.
on outstanding
She
loans,
defaults on
which crushes her credit. Okay,
Right.
that does make sense.
So let's say
Yeah.
within that 6 months, within 2 or 3 months of her trying to get back on her feet, how does she get an apartment? She just had an eviction. How does she get a new car? She just had a repo.
Right.
How does she get she's done? It's devastating. She starts over in a shelter somewhere unless she's got like a sister or brother that's going to let her sleep on their couch. And then it's kind of hard on them too because they're going to be like, "Do they have a weapon? She's a felon.
Yeah.
Do you have a weapon in the house? You have to get rid of your weapon." Well, I'm not getting rid of my weapon. Well, she can't stay in your house then.
Asking a lot of the people who are allowing you to flop on your couch. I get it.
It's crushing.
Okay.
Even 6 months is crushing.
All right. So what is your guess then? The actual
11 months strategically.
So if it's 6 months, do you get the points for hitting it on the nose, or
No.
you guess
No, I don't
okay.
get because
Okay.
I'm saying 11.
But if it's 11 months, you get the points for hitting it on the nose.
Yeah.
Okay. The correct answer is 1 year and 1 day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You got it.
I get a point.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it from within 20.
Within anything. Yeah.
Within 25% and the Colby rule. Yeah.
1 year and 1 day. So they gave her 1 year and 1 day.
Hey,
because
why don't you take a second to explain to your audience, because they're going to be very confused by that sentence, why you say 1 year and 1 day and not just 1 year.
Because if it's 1 year, then she doesn't get any gain time, any good time. They don't take off a percentage for her good behavior. Some judges will say, okay, I'll give you 1 year and 1 day. That way you automatically get good time. So they'll knock off 3 to 4 months off the rip. So instead of 1 year, 12 months, she's already she's down to 10 months, or really I think it's 9.5. Whatever.
So you end up serving less time in prison with a sentence of 1 year and 1 day than you would for a sentence of 1 year.
Yes.
Got it. All right, we're at 5 of 7 right now that you've gotten right. So you're kind of really running the table this week. No small thanks to Colby, but whatever. I'm cool with that. Matt Cox, you have spent probably more than anyone I know a disproportionate amount of time with criminals.
Yes.
Okay. And so I want to ask you philosophically, are these people born bad, or did something happen in their lives that made them bad, or is the whole premise wrong and they're not bad at all?
Yeah, I think it's, I think some people are predisposed to committing crimes, right? Mm-hmm. And
genetically,
I think they're just predisposed to. They're okay with it, right? And some people they're just absolutely opposed to it. But I think, like I've said before, I think in the right circumstances, pretty much anybody will commit a crime, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your family's hungry, you're going to steal some cheese.
Yeah. And that's a crime.
So some people are born bad.
So they're predisposed. They could just end it. You could also think about they could just end up being a CEO of a powerful company. They never had to turn they never had to turn to a life of crime or to crime because they were born in the right situation. They went to college. Things worked out well for them.
Well,
you're
making a nurture argument there, not a nature argument. Those people then are not born bad.
Well, I'm still saying they're predisposed. They would, had they been born in the right situation, they would have turned. But some people are born in the bad, some people are not predisposed to crime, and they're born in a shitty situation, and they just work hard. They make the right moves. They get themselves out of it. Like, I'm not saying if you're born in the projects with a bad set of parents that you're absolutely going to commit crime. No, right. You can get yourself out of it. You can get yourself out of it, but you're probably more likely to commit crime.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No.
In my opinion, which is based on absolutely nothing other than, maybe 13 years experience and of prison, being surrounded by criminals and listening to their stories, and another 5 years here sitting at this exact table listening to.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I wasn't being facetious. I do think this is something you would know a lot about, because while I've spent 30 years dealing with criminals as well, I'm kind of on the other side of the table trying to just establish what they did. Really, I don't get to know them and break bread with them the way that you do.
Right.
Okay, interesting. So let's talk about Leland James Vijaro, Vijarro, of I'm going to screw this name up. Toppenish, Washington. Anyway, by age 26, we'll just call him Leland.
Thinking this guy's ancestors didn't come over on the Mayflower.
They may have been here already in that part of the nation. By age 26, this young man had a rap sheet with over a decade of criminal infractions: arrests, assault, arson, firearms offenses, theft, domestic violence. There's an argument to be made that this guy, something went sideways in his youth, or he was born bad.
Right.
Okay. So last year, he breaks into his brother's home.
Okay.
And steals 13 firearms and a suppressor. And this theft ignites a dangerous series of events, Matt Cox. 2 days later, the police respond to reports of gunfire coming from a moving vehicle. It was Leland. Officers stop the car. Leland, still armed, starts running with a gun, runs into a nearby home and barricades himself, like a home invasion. Mm-hmm. Okay. The cops surround the house. They take cover. Leland comes out in the backyard and begins opening fire on the police using one of the stolen guns. He stands on a pallet, taking aims at the officers and continuing to fire. The patrol vehicles are being riddled by bullets. Thank heavens no officers were hit. Okay. Leland then runs into a second house and barricades himself inside that house. Hostage negotiators speak to him for hours, coaxing him to surrender, which he does later that night with no additional bloodshed. Okay. Now, the firefight and the home invasions happen to occur on the Yakima Nation Indian Reservation. And because federal lands and tribal jurisdiction are involved, this becomes the FBI's problem to unwind. Federal charges, and Leland ultimately pleads guilty to assaulting officers and multiple firearms charges. Okay. The judge takes a look at Leland's conduct, but guess what he's always looking at? Also looking at is Leland's criminal history, okay, which, as we talked about, is a mile long. And he also had a history of gang affiliations, okay? And so you take a look at Leland and you say, was he born to terrorize others, or did something go wrong in his youth that made him do so? And that's one of the things the judge probably had to think about when he laid down a sentence on Leland for this particular crime, but also taking a look at the totality of his young life at age 26 and the idea that this guy may very well have been born bad. What do you think that sentence was, Matt Cox?
40 years.
40 years?
Yeah. He's shooting at that to me. That's like that's attempted murder. You're shooting at police officers. He wasn't trying to scare them. He would have been firing in the air.
40 years. I don't think we've ever had a 40-year crime on the show together.
I mean, I think that's reasonable. He's a multiple convicted felon.
A long rap sheet.
He's got multiple weapons. He broke in. Who knows if any of those were fully automatic?
Two different houses. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 home invasions, fleeing, eluding, shooting at this is not.
No police were hit. He hit the cars.
I mean, the lowest I would go was 30 years.
He's not a good marksman. Not a good person or a good marksman.
The lowest I would go would be 30 years, and I can't imagine you give him 30. Like, to me, this is somebody who, like, listen,
you're making a born bad argument here.
I mean,
that this guy just needs to be taken out of society, that he's irredeemable. There's no he's not going to have the Matt Cox trajectory where you learn your lessons and you come out of prison a better person.
Yeah, but I'm not targeting people trying to kill them, and I'm not kicking people's door.
My point, though, is that you believe in rehabilitation.
No, I believe in rehabilitation. This guy's had plenty of chances to rehabilitate. What are you talking? This is not some look. A lion just does what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But you just can't let them roam the countryside, you know? And it's sad because, hey, he's just doing what's natural. He's just doing what, you know, and this guy has had many, many chances, and he's a violent person, and he's somebody that you just can't have in society. You know, he's had his chances. It sounds like he's had 5 or 6 chances. I forget. I don't know if you said exactly how many times he's been in and out.
I don't even have the number, but I mean, the convictions and arrests for assault, arson, firearms offenses, thefts, domestic violence. Also affiliated with a gang. And
yeah, I mean, it's you know, I mean, as much as I want to give someone the benefit of the doubt.
No, I'm liking this hanging Judge Matt Cox. This is a new Matt Cox.
It's not a new Matt Cox. I just have very little sympathy for violence and for, you know, piercing the sanctity of someone's home. Like, I should feel safe in my home. Absolutely. I shouldn't be sitting on my couch watching Breaking Bad and some guy kicks in my door.
A home invasion is terrifying. Terrifying. Yeah, you did nothing wrong. You're just sitting there watching your show.
40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
All right, well, I did my best. The correct answer is 16 and a half years.
That's some bullshit, man. That's some bullshit. That is. Did he go to trial?
No.
Oh, he
pled guilty.
Yeah. But even if I took that into consideration, it'd be 30 years. Mm-hmm. 16 years. Come on. 16 years. I know guys who robbed banks and got 25 years.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I just love hearing your thought process.
What's his name? Big Herc. Big Herc got 10 years for robbing a bank.
Yeah, and this guy got 16 and a half for being for shooting at cop cars.
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No, listen. You know the body cams.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I get no more enjoyment in my life than watching the body cams of these cops where these people crack the window and they're just like, they don't want, why are you pulling me over? And I don't have to give you my ID. And listen, man, we're going to break the window and drag you out. Like, these cops
they always end the same way, right?
Yeah. And these guys, they'll argue with them. And I'm watching the video and I'm hearing them. By the second time, they're like, I pulled you over for this reason. I'm allowed. I have a lawful stop. I'm allowed. You have to know.
Yeah.
You have to. Oh, and I'm already going. And Jess will walk by and I'm like, break the window, drag her out. Break the window. Break the window. Break the window. We're not talking. And then it goes on for 5 minutes. They're trying to like, this person's. They know. They heard you, bro. Stop. I'm now mad at the officer.
Yeah. Why are you taking so long?
Why haven't we dragged this chick out? Why haven't we put this guy in handcuffs? Why haven't we?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, wait for backup. We're gonna need 3 guys to get this guy out.
Let me speak to your supervisor.
Yeah.
I want to supervise. That's funny. All right, last night at dinner, Colby asked me if there was a theme to the stories this episode, and it's been a bit of a potpourri, but the next 4 stories I do think are themed, and if we actually reach back to the story about the guy who did the affinity fraud with his Facebook friends, we may be able to come up with a theme for this episode as being kind of the dangers of social media, or the dark side of social media. You on Snapchat? Are you on Snapchat?
No.
Yeah. I have it. I never go on it.
You are on Snapchat.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. We actually have somebody that's trying to get us monetized on Snapchat.
I love when people send me stuff and I have no idea. And I'm like, that's me. Like, and then I'll call Colby. I'll be like, dude, how many TikTok accounts do we have? He's like, we got like 5 of them. I'm like, we do? I've never seen this one.
Yeah, Snapchat's a bit of a mystery to me. I think the appeal of Snapchat to begin with was the idea that I send you a text message, it disappears later. So if I were to send you something kind of racy or that I don't want to see, it doesn't give you the option to save it and like show all the other kids in 8th grade. It strikes me as a place where a lot of really young people are, like almost like a gateway drug, like the place where maybe even if you were a bad guy looking to make 13-year-old, Snapchat would be the marketplace to do that. And I'm not advocating that, but it's going to be kind of a theme of these stories, some of which, dear audience, have some disturbing qualities. So please keep that in mind if you're driving around with your kids, okay? Let's go to St. Paul, Minnesota. We have 38-year-old Timmy Gebhardt. 38-year-old Timmy. He works as a normal office job, lived in a normal house, but no one knew, Matt Cox, that he had a secret life as a Snapchat fiend. Okay. Timmy used AI to create 66 different Snapchat profiles pretending to be teenage kids.
Okay. And how old was he?
38.
Okay. Did you say that?
I did.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
it's okay.
All right.
It's okay. I say a lot of stuff. You don't have to focus on it all.
Yeah, that's odd. It's odd. 38 years.
Yeah, weird hobby. And from there, he would go and befriend boys and girls on Snapchat and eventually turn the conversation sexual. He would solicit nude photos and videos from children. And if the child complied, Timmy would then demand more photos and more videos. And if the boys and girls resisted and said no, he would threaten to release the previous videos to all of their schoolmates unless they complied. Kind of a sextortion thing.
Yeah.
Right? Then he started sending them graphic videos of people getting murdered in horrendous ways to threaten and intimidate his teenage victims to become his basic online slaves, sending him more sexual content. Okay. Timmy's not demanding money the way that some of these sextortion scams are. He's seeking sexual photos and videos from these scared adolescents.
Yeah.
Okay. He escalated his demands that local kids meet up with him and forced several of them to meet up with him in person and had relations with them in his car under the threats of public embarrassment and physical harm. Okay, so it's not just online nonsense. He's doing real life bad stuff.
Yeah.
After receiving a complaint from one victim's mother, the FBI Minneapolis office opens a case and gets to work kind of piecing together the spider web of profiles. One thing I know about Snapchat is that even though that they're very, very cooperative with law enforcement, they have a pretty decent and robust record of, if a police or the FBI calls them and produces the appropriate subpoena or search warrant or whatever, they're going to give them the keys to the kingdom. Profiles, direct messages, IP addresses, it's all there in Snapchat servers. And so by the time it's done, the FBI had identified a dozen victims under the age of 16, of actual flesh and blood victims that they identified who had been either sextorted or met up with him. One girl, with the youngest being 12 years old, a little girl. So Timmy is arrested and charged with extortion and child exploitation charges. He pleads guilty. What do you sentence Timmy to?
I was going to say 30 years, but because he pled guilty,
Yeah.
20?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that he deserves 20. I think he deserves 30, you know. It's funny that the federal system is not as harsh on violence. I mean, and to me, the forcing those kids to, then that's, so I would say that he was probably looking at 30, and he took 20. Part of the reason
He did plead guilty.
yeah, he pled guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But even if he pled to, I don't think he would have pled to 30 because he would have been like, most people, if you give them that much time, they're like, I'll just go to trial. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I'm also kind of thinking 20. Boy, he's going to have a hard time.
Yeah, like the other prisoners are going to take it out on him.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's not like that he's going to get, well, that, I don't know. No, because he physically,
Yeah, this wasn't. He did meet up with a handful of them.
he's not going to a low. He's probably going to like a medium.
Mm-hmm.
He might not be able to leave the unit in a medium.
Really?
I mean, like
people
like
gonna beat him up.
yeah, they actually have special units where it's like where they put mental guys that have mental issues, which he has, or they're in danger, and they actually put them in that unit, and they eat last,
Okay.
so that everybody else eats, and then when they clear it out, they call them last so that they can go get in line, get their food, and go straight back to the unit. Yeah.
Wow.
That's because that's at the medium, but the low, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 20. 20 seems reasonable. 20, 25, 20. Let's say 20, because I know a guy that went to trial that had flown over here to meet with a young boy from Germany.
You told that story.
I think he got 25. Did he get 20 or 25? But I think he went to trial because he just felt like he hadn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
This guy pled guilty. Let's say 20. I'm saying 20.
I want to keep in mind, and not trying to influence you either way, that he's 38 years old. So you're saying that 20 years, assuming he serves every day of it, and that one serves every
He'd
day.
be
of
in
it.
his early 50s when he got out.
Okay. So 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Correct answer?
What?
30 years.
He pled guilty to 30 years.
Well, again, he pled guilty and got 30 years. The federal system, as you goddamn well know, doesn't tell you what the sentence is when you plead guilty. That is solely up to the judge. The prosecutor can recommend an absolute number of years or give you a guidelines range, and the judge is going to be like, I don't care. It's 30 years. I got a granddaughter.
Yeah, I said 32. But see, I feel like a lot of these guys but yeah, here's the thing too, is like he's so guilty too. Like the documentation is there. Like I don't know how you would
66 different Snapchat profiles he created.
Yeah, no, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, crazy. So parents, keep an eye on your kids' Snapchat usage.
Do you remember the guy who? So I think Wade. I have a buddy named Wade who runs a channel called Crime and Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say he interviewed the guy and you'll remember this because this was back in like the early 80s, and he was caught, like he was literally there was news at the airport. So here's what happened was this guy's son was taking, let's say, karate.
Okay.
His karate instructor became fascinated with his son, who's like 12 or something, 13. He kidnaps him, takes him 3 or 4 states away. Eventually, I want to say the FBI, they track him down. Somebody tracks him down, and they return the son, and then they're bringing the defendant or whatever. They're bringing the defendant back to, I want to say maybe it was Florida. I don't remember. Let's say it was Florida. They bring him back, and this is back in the 80s, right?
I remember this. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they bring him back through the airport. Well, the father knows he's flying in. So the father brings a gun to the airport and is on the payphones. They used to have these things, payphones. So he's on the payphone, and as the defendant or criminal, whatever you want to call him, as these two police officers.
They're walking the guy.
Right, they're walking him. He's handcuffed, and they're walking him through the airport.
And the media was there, like, to film the arrival of this bad guy who's being transported.
Yeah, and they're actually
it's all happening on camera.
Yeah, I mean, it really was an amazing shot.
Yeah,
as the guy's coming towards them, and just as he walks right by the father who's at the payphone with his face facing the other way. The father twists around with the gun, and I mean, it's actually an amazing shot.
Yeah.
And he bam and shoots the guy right in the head, and they shoots him a couple times, drops the gun, and they arrest him, and he ends up killing the guy. But yeah, so Wade actually interviewed that guy, the dad.
Mm-hmm. What do you get?
I think he got like 20 years or something.
Okay,
I don't know what he got. Maybe it was 10. I mean. Not sure.
I'd take that case to trial. I'd take my chances with the jury.
Yeah, that's I wonder.
You'd have to give me a really sweet plea deal for me to not. And we know the prosecutor was not excited about rolling the dice with 12 common citizens, given that fact scenario.
Yeah, you get you get one or two. Yeah. You only need one or two parents on who are going to be like,
yeah. He got a nice cell with a ghost bed.
Yeah.
All right, let's stay with Snapchat. Because I want this to be a cautionary tale for your viewers, especially the ones with kids. There's an unknown person on Snapchat using the name Katie Anderson. I think, if you took a look at the case, you would see that Katie Anderson was clearly a guy, but you're never going to believe who Katie really was, Matt Cox. Okay. A 13-year-old girl named Rachel was contacted out of the blue by Katie Anderson, and it took no time at all before Katie had manipulated the child into sending sexually explicit photos of young Rachel doing things to herself.
Okay.
Rachel didn't want to do it, but this guy behind the Katie name told her that if she didn't comply, he would do bad things to her family. And Rachel went along with it because she was worried about the safety of her family. And this exploitation of this kid went on for months. Eventually, our victim tells someone who's kind of aware of this enslavement, really, this went on for a long time, who then that third party contacts the FBI, who interviews little Rachel about what's occurring. Rachel tells the truth. And so the FBI goes to work to figure out who the heck this Katie Anderson is. In the process, they identify two other little girls who are going through the same torment of coercive threats in exchange for sexually explicit videos and photos. But who was Katie Anderson? The IP address points to a home in Edmond, Oklahoma, occupied by 31-year-old Sai Kuramula, middle name Kumar. The agents execute a search warrant at Sai's house and take his home and searching his house, take his telephone. And on the phone, they find hundreds of photos of young girls, including the 3 victims that the FBI already knew about. Okay. Sai was residing in the U.S. on a temporary work visa from India since 2015.
No.
Yeah. And the FBI agents were arresting him. He screams, "Just give me one more opportunity. I will never do it again."
Oh.
Sai was charged with sexual exploitation of children and pled guilty. Okay. So Sai, when he finishes his sentence, is going back to India, which I think is always a judgment factor in the minds of the judges on how much time are they going to have the U.S. taxpayers pay for his care and feeding. And so he had lots and lots of pictures. We've identified 3 girls he had done this to, but he never met up with any of them in person. Okay, so a little slightly different fact scenario than the last one.
And he pled guilty.
And he's going back to India afterwards. How much time are you going to give him? Different judge, of course.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
So I'm torn between what he should get and what he probably got.
Mm-hmm. 3 victims. 3, I mean, probably a lot more victims, but 3 that they were able to really nail down because he had a ton of pictures of other kids that we don't really know what the genesis was.
Yeah. What's a safe bet? Let's say 18 years.
Okay. Your answer is 18 years.
17 years. 17 years.
17 years.
17 years.
We just gave him a 1-year discount.
Good
Good behavior.
17. Yeah.
17 years. All right. Let's move this along because I hate this story, even though I brought it. Correct answer, 35 years in prison.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like he got 35, the other guy got 30. Like what? This is.
I know. That's the X factor here is the judge. You know, the judges, different judges, now that the sentencing guidelines are just sort of advisory, they can do whatever they want, but they use these guidelines. Some are more offended by these things. Some aren't. He got 35 years. The previous guy.
I don't feel bad for him. It's fine. Like
good riddance. Yeah.
Well, he ended up serving his life in prison.
He died in prison?
No. Oh, did he?
Indian man commits suicide in U.S. jail after 35-year sentence.
No.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
There
so it
you
was
go.
a life sentence.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Happy ending.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I was thinking 17, and you release him back on the Indian population.
Exactly.
I mean,
all right. Let's do another social media story. Okay, I want to hammer this point home for your viewers to keep an eye on their kids. When Cassandra woke up in her home in Fort Bend, Texas, she was alarmed to find her 13-year-old daughter, Nicole, missing from the bedroom. Nicole's just gone. Cassandra calls the cops. The police took their report, and while they're taking the report, they see a car dropping Nicole off down the street from her home. The girl seems to be unharmed, and one set of officers escorts Nicole into her house, while the other set of officers detains and questions the mysterious man in the car. They're able to stop him.
all right.
Okay.
This sounds familiar. Does this sound familiar to you? Go ahead.
Kind of, yeah.
Sorry.
If we've done this story, let me know. I thought I reviewed all previous episodes. A few weeks ago, she met a guy, a 25-year-old guy on Instagram named Bryce Stone. We did a story about a boy that this happened to.
it was a boy. It was a boy.
Very similar fact scenario, right? Where the cops come, the boy's missing. This boy came home. That was a nighttime one. This was a morning one. This happened in the morning. But yeah, very similar fact scenario. Anyway, this guy, a few weeks ago, this is what Nicole says. Nicole's stories, I met a guy on Instagram. His name is Bryce Stone. He was 25 years old, she said. Again, she's 13. After talking for a few days online, she begins to sneak out of the house at midnight while her mom's asleep.
If you sleep hot at night, you know how disruptive that can be. When you're not resting well, everything else feels harder. Your focus, your mood, even your recovery. GhostBed is here to help you fix that. They've spent decades perfecting how to build a bed that's comfortable, durable, and designed to actually help you rest. Every GhostBed mattress features premier materials, proven cooling technology, and their exclusive ProCore layer, a targeted support system that reinforces the center of the mattress where the body is heaviest. It helps keep your spine aligned and your back supported, so you can wake up ready for anything 2026 throws at you. Each mattress comes with a 101 night sleep trial and a 20 to 25 year warranty, so you can try it risk-free, knowing it's built to last. Shipping is fast and free. Most orders arrive in 2 to 5 days. GhostBed has great prices to begin with, up to 50% off comparable brands. And Inside True Crime listeners can get an extra 10% off site-wide for a limited time. Just go to ghostbed.com/Cox and use promo code Cox at checkout. That's ghostbed.com/Cox, promo code Cox. Upgrade your sleep with GhostBed, the makers of the coolest bed in the world. Some exclusions apply. See site for details.
And Bryce would pick her up and drive her to his house in Katy, Texas. I've been to Katy. It's a nice suburb. I like Katy. I would have moved there if I had been transferred to Houston. And then they would have rough sex involving handcuffs and other restraints at his house in Katy. She said this occurred 15 times. Okay. She said he used to take pictures of her in restraints while they were together. He even posted a photo of 13-year-old Nicole restrained with purple handcuffs on his Instagram page, but her face was obscured. So if you went to Bryce's Instagram page. At the same time, while Nicole is telling them this story, there's another set of cops interviewing Bryce. His name's actually Bryce Flickinger, once they finally identified him.
Yeah, Stone sounded made up.
Yeah, you'd be shocked to learn he lied to this little girl about what his last name was. And he was, in fact, 25 years old. But he refuses to answer any police questions. I ain't talking. I'm not saying anything to anybody. But they're able to seize his phone and give it to the FBI for forensic examination. And guess what they find on the phone? All the evidence they needed. They have pictures of this 25-year-old Bryce doing things with 13-year-old Nicole with every variety your nightmare mind could imagine. We don't need to get into the specifics. Sometimes Nicole was restrained with purple handcuffs, just like she had said and just like they had the picture. They also found more videos capturing the two on Snapchat. The FBI partners with the Fort Bend police to bring federal charges against Bryce for production and distribution of illegal child images, let's say. Meanwhile, FBI victim specialists are like helping Nicole and her mom kind of get this girl the counseling she needs. Bryce Flickinger, also known as Bryce Stone, pleads guilty. How much are you going to sentence this guy to? One victim, ongoing relationship, harvested this girl on the internet, but again and again and again.
So he meets her, he manipulates her to come out. He's not threatening. He's not taking the photos and threatening her. I'll hurt people.
He's being seductive. They had no threats, but this is kind of a rougher sexual romance. To the extent that it was. I mean, he's manipulating a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
But lots of pictures and a picture of her posted on Instagram with her face obscured. And kind of super graphic pictures. I don't need to get into the details, but you get it. No criminal history on young Bryce. He's 25 years old.
He's somewhere between 15 and 20. Only because she wasn't threatened. She's coming out of the house over and over again. She's not terrified.
This is not happening at the tip of a sword. There was no coercion involved other than the fact that she's legally too young to consent to this type of activity.
Yeah. 17 years.
Okay. 17 years is your guess?
I'm probably low again.
You comfortable with that guess? Doesn't sound like you're comfortable.
I'm not comfortable with anything since the other guy has these 30, 35. Like these are outrageous, but I just...
Judges be wildin', man. They do their own thing.
I just feel like those guys were like, they were threatening and they were... and I feel like this is... I mean, I'm granted she's absolutely way too young to be making these decisions on her own, but she could have told somebody, she could have said something, but... So I'm gonna say 17 years.
Okay. Correct answer, 10 years.
10 years. Yeah, I would have never come close to 10.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't have been my guess. Colby, you find him?
Actually, it was kind of...
He's got an Instagram profile still that never got taken down.
I did find another guy, another teacher with the same name in Ohio. Poor guy.
Final question. Final story, rather. Okay, we're at 12. What's the score right now?
What is the score?
5 of 11. So this is it.
This is it.
So I've got 5.
You need 6 of 12 to win, to pass.
This is a good one too. I like this story a lot. So, we ever talked about FBI legal attaches?
No.
Okay,
I don't know what that is.
An FBI legal attache. At the FBI, we call them legats. And the assistant legal attaché is the ALAT. So we have legats and ALATs. And what that is, and people ask me this all the time because they have a real misunderstanding of what it is, they are the FBI agents stationed overseas.
Okay.
Okay?
So they're still FBI agents.
They're FBI special agents.
Okay.
But the thing is, and what a lot of people don't understand, and I think there's actually a TV show about FBI, international or something like that. That legats and ALATs, it's really an embassy job. They're working in the embassy, and they don't have any authority overseas.
Yeah.
But again, you would never know this from watching TV in the movies where they're kicking in doors and like shoving Russian mobsters' faces
running through Paris.
Yeah, exactly. It's an important job and it's critical. But nearly every embassy of every civilized nation on planet Earth of the U.S. Embassy there has an FBI agent stationed there, at least one legat, and then one or more ALATs working with them. And what they do is they facilitate international investigations. If we have a mutual legal assistance treaty with London, I send a lead from my office in Jacksonville, Florida, to the FBI office, the FBI legat in London, saying, can you please find out who lives at this address? I have a case where a victim sent a lot of money through international, a bunch of cash in a romance scam or whatever to this particular house. Can you find out who's there? Now, that FBI agent doesn't really have the authority to conduct investigations in England, but what they do is they reach out to their counterparts who they have developed relationship with at Scotland Yard or the London police or whatever, and say, hey, pursuant to our treaty, can you find out who lives at this? And they assign it to an agent who a detective who goes and gets that information, documents it, hands it off to the legat at the embassy, who then sends it back to me in Jacksonville, and now I have information in my case. Make sense?
Yeah.
It also goes the other way, where if that guy in Scotland Yard says, hey, can you tell me, can you go in, we need an interview to be conducted of this guy who lives in Tampa named Colby. He's a real shifty character, and he's been in touch with some bad people here. We want you to ask these dozen questions. That Scotland Yard guy can't just come here and do that, right? He's got no authority. So he hands that lead to the legat, who then sets a lead for me. It arrives at me. I go to Colby's house. I knock on his door. I introduce myself. I'm conducting an investigation pursuant to the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty with the United Kingdom. I have some questions for you. And so I was always the guy who handled the international investigations for the FBI in Honolulu and Jacksonville involving white-collar crimes. And I volunteered for that duty because I thought I was going to be flying around the world testifying in foreign cases. It never worked out. And different countries have different requirements. Like if you're doing a case for like Japan, and I did a bunch of those, they need you to like stamp the back of the document and sign it. So every country has different requirements for how to collect evidence for them, and I had to keep track of all that. This is a story of a success story of an FBI legat. You ever heard of an online gaming system called Roblox?
Yes.
What do you know about Roblox?
Nothing, but I have heard about it, and I've heard that like a lot of kids are being contacted by, it's basically by predators are able to easily interact with young kids. That's all I know.
You up on Roblox, Colby?
Yeah, I would say
It's a game, right? Is it kind of like a game?
It's a gaming system.
You can basically do anything. Like I could build a football game, a basketball game, a role-playing game. Like you could do anything.
It's a tool where you can create your own video game and then have people play it with you.
But there's lots of
it's a chat
interaction.
room. It's also a chat room.
There's a lot of chat and
included.
giving and taking, which has been a real problem. Who's the To Catch a Predator guy? I met him once at a conference.
Chris Hansen?
Chris Hansen has been all over Roblox lately on his social media for being kind of a cesspool of problems involving child predators. So functions like a social network. We got a guy named Austin Hibbert, 25-year-old guy from Tallahassee, Florida, our state capital, Matt Cox. He was very active on Roblox. And on that platform, he met a 13-year-old girl that we'll call Christina in the northern European nation of Estonia, former Soviet Republic. Okay, they begin talking. Austin moves the conversation off of Roblox onto Snapchat and Discord, and he pushes the dialogue into a graphic sexual conversation. At first, Christina in Estonia is resistant, explaining that, hey, I'm only 13, but Austin was very persistent and broke the little girl down, and the two began sexting and exchanging nude photos with each other. The story we've told 1,000 times here. Breaks your heart. I've read the the text exchanges between them, and it's super graphic. We don't need to get into it here, but let your most perverted imagination run wild, and you're in the right neighborhood, okay? So these two are talking for a year and develop this like relationship with each other. Again, 25-year-old guy, 13-year-old girl. He's in Tallahassee. She's in Estonia. And they begin talking about how wonderful it would be if they could be together, okay? And so they begin making plans for Austin to fly to Estonia to have relations with young Christina. And they're talking about how they're going to get around the prying eyes of Christina's overbearing mother in Estonia. We got to figure out how to get around mom. And so Austin applies for a U.S. passport to make this trip, gets his U.S. passport, books finds out where Christina lives, hops on one of the vacation rental websites and books a vacation rental a few doors down from her so she could just walk down the street to see him, and buys a plane ticket from Tallahassee to Atlanta to Amsterdam to Estonia. He's so excited, Matt Cox. This is actually happening.
He's making big moves here to make this happen.
Now, Austin did not know this, but right before his trip, Christina's mother in Estonia searches the little girl's phones and reads all about their plans to be together. She contacts the local police, who contact the FBI's legal attaché in Estonia, and that's the FBI agent in the U.S. Embassy. The legal attaché loops in the former colleagues at the FBI in Tallahassee, which is a satellite office of the Jacksonville office. So I did a lot of work in Tallahassee. And that's how it works. So the Tallahassee FBI agents were able to surveil Austin as he boards his first flight, the first leg of his flight in Tallahassee. They put agents on the plane to follow him. He flies from Tallahassee to Atlanta. He's making the trip. And they decide to arrest him in Atlanta before he gets on his next flight. Okay. A search of Austin's phone confirms and reveals all the text messages. And he has a suitcase basically filled with condoms. He's arrested and transported back to Tallahassee, charged with a variety of international child exploitation charges. He pleads guilty. Okay, so big win for the FBI, big win for the FBI's legal attaché program. This is the way it's supposed to work when everything works perfectly. How much time, though, are we giving 25-year-old Austin Hibbert of Tallahassee, Florida?
I mean, I think, like, I would think 25 years, but here's my problem is that, like you had said before, like, he goes to trial. We got to bring this little girl over here, mom. We got a police officer.
These cases are a pain in the neck.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to bring all these people over here. So maybe that it worked to his advantage to the course of 10 years or something. Maybe he got 15. I want to say he got 10 to 15 years, in between 10 to 15 years. Let's say 10.
Okay.
10? International, is it?
This was a year-long courtship with lots of photos. Again, not trying to influence you either way, just letting you, I want you to add the context.
13 years.
You think this guy got 13 years for trying to go to Estonia? And
It's one victims, but it is a lot of photos. The photos are a big deal. But he also pled guilty, and it's an international case, and it's a pain in the ass. And they're like, God, what if anybody doesn't get on the plane? If it's expensive. Like, okay, well, 13 years. 13 years.
Okay, you keep saying the word 13, so we're going to go with 13 years. You comfortable with that?
I'd like to win the game for once. Oh, we gotta wait.
Give it a second. It's gonna be an hour.
Nah, they're pretty quick. Been lucky since at the house it was all the time.
In football games, you ever heard the term icing the kicker?
No.
The idea is before the kicker is getting ready to kick the field goal that's going to win the game, the defensive team calls a timeout. Basically calls all their timeouts back to back to back to create a long window of time where the kicker's just sort of standing there in the field, looking at the ball, looking at the thing, second-guessing himself, doubting himself, feeling bad about himself. And they just extend that as long as possible with commercial breaks and timeouts so this kicker who's full of piss and vinegar when he steps on the field is just sitting there with his own thoughts and feelings and inadequacies. And so Colby thought that this is a little like icing the kicker, the fact that we took a break to have you use the bathroom before you would win or lose this game. So when last we posed this question to you, you were at 13 months for this guy.
No, 13 months. 13 years.
13 years. Sorry, 13 years for this guy who was going on his way to Estonia when he was caught in transit by the FBI.
Okay.
To deflower a 13-year-old girl.
God. Okay. 15 years.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I want to just make sure that you and I are on the same page about where this thing stands, because let's call it what it is, Matt Cox. There is a lot of pressure on this question for you. Right? This is the difference between you winning or losing. I mean, the other ones, it's fun and games. We can all laugh it off. But this is it. This is the field goal that's going to win the Matt Cox Super Bowl. And so I'm curious, now that you've had time to reflect upon it, go to the bathroom, get some caffeine in your system, powder your nose, do your hair. How much time do you think
I did none of that, by the way.
How much time do you think this guy's going to get for on his way to Estonia, being caught with lots and lots of photos with this girl in situations that would make her parents flip out?
15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Last question, so I want to make sure you're comfortable with this. And so I'm going to ask you, is that your final answer, Matt Cox?
Yes.
Yeah, the correct answer. Colby, you want to tell him or should I?
Just do the motion. of the field goal.
11 years. 11 years.
11. How off am I?
You're
I
off.
was
13.75. So 13 was good. 15 is not.
fucking bullshit. This is.
You were almost there, man. You were
And
almost
they
there.
called a timeout, and you made the field goal on a timeout.
We iced the kicker. We iced the kicker. So final score, Colby?
5 of 12.
5 of 12, which I believe is less than 50%. But thank you for playing, Matt Cox. We enjoyed having you on your own show.
You're a horrible person.
We have some consolation prizes for him. Colby, tell him what he's won. Some rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. Some hamburger helper, which is good without the hamburger. What are your thoughts? How do you feel?
I feel like I feel manipulated. I was at 13. I was going to win. I was
You're
good.
at 13. You're like 13, 13. And then that guy started mowing outside.
We were talking about it while you were in the bathroom. That this is it. Was he going to stick with his guns, or is he going to?
I was
going to
stuck
chill?
with my guns, but you did the whole thing.
I recapped what we knew. Again, I know your audience didn't have to sit here while we waited 5 minutes for you to powder your nose or do whatever the hell you were doing in the bathroom. But we needed to. I needed that recap for you.
All right, are we done here?
Are we
what
done?
are we doing?
I think we're done.
What are we?
We need to know what Tom's doing now.
Well, I
We'll get there.
Really, honestly,
You don't
care. What's funny is one of that I was gonna say last night at dinner. One of the more interesting parts was when you were actually going over the different cases that you're working on right now. Those were good. I mean, you can't talk about them, but you were like, there was like a couple were anticlimactic. Like you were like, I'm waiting and waiting, and then I was like, and then but some of them were pretty good, right? Like some of them were really good. It was like, those were some good results.
Right. I have some cases that have that I investigated and shepherded them to my former colleagues at the FBI, and they have been charged. The bad guy has pled guilty on a crime that I was the genesis of as a private investigator, and I'm going to wait till they're sentenced. I'm going to be bringing those in. So over the course of the next few months, I hope to bring in some actual private investigative cases of cases that I investigated since my retirement with the FBI.
Are you gonna bring them in? Like we're gonna talk.
Well, no, we'll do this. We'll do
They'll
the
just
game.
be one of the game.
We'll do the game.
Oh, okay.
There'll be questions in the game, and that first question that as first story I give you is usually a somewhat autobiographical one of a case I investigated. I consider these cases that I investigated. The FBI would not have opened up that case, and the bad guy would not have been in prison, but for private investigator Tom Simon having a client. Yeah.
Well, it's good because you're able to go in there and and it's exactly the way they would have done it themselves. So it's a quick read.
And that's
for
the
them.
value I have for the clients. Might as well address that issue right now. I'm a private investigator now since I've retired from the FBI. And honestly, tell you the truth, and why I'm more than happy to buy you dinner anytime I'm in town is that I've been getting a lot of calls from people who have learned about my services from the Matt Cox Show. And so I can't thank you enough for that. Even though you don't pay me anything to be on the show, you never cover my hotel.
This is what they call ancillary benefits.
Yeah. I'm able to monetize my appearances on the show by being able to help out your fans, who hopefully eventually will become my fans also. But they certainly have become my clients and people that I care deeply about. And I work in all 50 states, and my expertise is fraud, but I do all types of investigations, and I will always make the time for a call from a Matt Cox fan for a free consultation. So if you need a private investigator or know someone who does, I'm here for you, and I do appreciate it. And I do love your fans, and I do read every comment they make about us, and they're incredibly kind and almost embarrassingly kind, and they love what we're doing together. And this is a fantastic show. It's a fantastic friendship, and it's a fantastic business partnership I have with you.
You also do speaking engagements too.
I do. Thank you.
Have you got any speaking engagements from here?
That's a good question. I don't think so, but I think there's some social proof involved where if someone is considering hiring me, they begin searching me, and eventually they're going to find either your show or episodes of our show.
Right.
And I think that shows that I can be kind of, we have fun together. We laugh and have a good time. That kind of aspect of my personality that doesn't always come out in my Instagram when I'm reporting on these horrific crimes. And so, so I have some speeches that I give to organizations and companies. The one that's been most popular lately is how to use FBI behavioral science for business success, whether that's sales or to make your managers better managers. I was just hired by a big company for a giant conference with a bunch of Fortune 500 executives where they just want me to get up there and tell entertaining FBI stories for an hour. They don't need some grand lesson, and I have some pretty hilarious stories to tell that I've told here and elsewhere that I'm doing. And I also have programs for CPAs and regulatory investors on how to do better financial crime investigations. I have a business program on how to make sure your business is safe from fraud and embezzlement. And so So anyone out there who's watching the Matt Cox Show who either hires speakers for conferences or knows, or wants to introduce me to the person who does. Matt does speeches, I do speeches. Book us both. Wouldn't that be amazing? Anyway, you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Simon Investigations is my name there. And just once again, I love coming on the show. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified videos just like this. Also, if you want to follow and subscribe to Tom's social medias or contact him, you can go into the description box, click on the links that will be there, shoot over there. You can follow him and subscribe. Once again, I really appreciate you checking out the video. Please send it to anybody you might think might be interested. Also, if you're interested in being a guest or you know someone that wants to be a guest, you can go to our website. You can go to the Be a Guest page. You fill out a very brief form, leave a 3 to 5 minute video, and we will get back with you very, very quickly. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. See ya.
Be cool.